What's Trending with Jiminita Swain and the Bahama Beauty at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas from Studio A. It all starts right now.
Hello and welcome everyone. It's Monday, March 17th, and you're tuned in to the ultimate destination for all things lifestyle, entertainment, and everything in between. I'm Jiminita Swain, and you're watching What's Trending, the show where we bring you the latest trends, hottest news, and insider tips on living your best life. Whether you're here for fashion, food, fitness, or the latest buzz from social media, we've got you covered. Let's dive in. Officials say at least 40 people are dead after tornadoes ripped through the United States, Midwest, and southern states. Missouri experienced the bulk of the twisters that spawned on Friday. In that state, 12 people died. Dust storms created by powerful winds in Texas and Kansas led to vehicle pileups and a dozen deaths. Officials say fatalities were also recorded in Arkansas, Alabama, and Mississippi. Well, a 61-year-old Peruvian fisherman is happy to be alive after being adrift out to sea for more than 3 months. A Navy official said he was discharged from hospital this weekend. The fisherman, Maximo Napo, was rescued in a small fishing boat after an Ecuadorian vessel spotted him off the coast of Chimbote in northern Peru. He told local media that he survived out to sea by eating cockroaches, birds, and turtles. Well, back here at home, Long Islanders are mourning the loss of legendary boat builder Lauren Llewellyn Knowles, who passed away at the age of 87. Known for his remarkable contributions to boat building, Knowles was also the father of renowned sailor Stephen Knowles. He passed away on Sunday in Mangrove Bush, Long Island. Lauren Knowles was the son of the late Earl Knowles, a well-respected boat builder in his own right, and the nephew of the late Rupert Knowles, another prominent figure in the boating community. Our condolences are extended to the Knowles family. Well, we have an interesting show for you today. Exuma was the talk of the town this weekend. Hear more about it. And miss the biggest moments of this week? No worries, the Bahama Beauty is in studio to catch you up. This and more after the break. You're watching What's Trending.
Exuma, Managing Director Reginald Wood, told us the story of the Exuma Palms Resort, as well as its very own Blue Conch restaurant.
We started here with this management team about 2.5 years ago. We did a rebranding of the hotel, the entire property, the hotel and the restaurant, and we wanted to make it more family, couple-friendly, and so it really goes with what you experience when you touch down here in Exuma. It's quaint, peaceful, very tranquil, lots of beautiful beaches, and so we wanted to create an experience that matched that. And then, so that was the hotel side. And then in the restaurant, I always say to people, it's difficult to prepare a food that you've never had. So a lot of the foods that we prepare, you've probably had them before. What our endeavor is to do a presentation and a preparation that gives you an experience that makes you say, wow, this is really, really good. You know, like they say, everybody does chicken. We try to do it not just different, but better. Our menu is seafood intensive. We try to use as much of the local fare as possible. On our menu, you gotta find the local lobster, the local conch, the local red snapper, the local grouper. Then we also we have shrimp on our menu with mussels, even oysters, and the calamari. The experience we are trying to create here, we're working very hard to create is an ambiance, even the food, the fare, an experience that when combined, it gives you the sense of place that this place really is paradise.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources visited Exuma this past weekend and brought along a major gift for the farming and fishing sectors of the island. Here's a closer look.
We recognize the challenges that our farmers face, from land preparation to improving crop yields. And so, this new tractor is a direct investment in your success. Fishing is also a way of life for many people in Exuma, and it is our duty to ensure that our marine resources are protected from illegal activities, overfishing, and environmental threats. This new marine patrol boat will enhance the capabilities of our officers to monitor and enforce our fishing regulations, ensuring that our waters remain rich and productive for generations to come.
What we see here today is a demonstration of that support from the government, and we are appreciative of the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources for coming to Exuma and showing us their love today.
Three, two, one. Yay. We have $100,000 worth of supplies that will be given by Victoria Pond. It's fertilizer, drip feed, irrigation materials, you name it, we will be providing it for them because they need it. You know, agriculture is not a cheap industry, as you would have heard last night. Some of them mentioned it at the town hall meeting. And so we wanted to put our money where our mouth is and show that the support is truly genuine.
Well, as you would have just seen, the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources was busy over the weekend in Exuma. The minister's visit directly aimed at supporting the agricultural community in Exuma, addressing the region's specific needs, and reinforcing government's commitment to strengthening local farming. With ongoing efforts to boost sustainability and resilience in the sector, the minister emphasized the importance of empowering farmers in rural areas and ensuring the continued growth of the nation's agricultural industry. In studio, we have the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, the Honorable Junkanoo Campbell. Welcome to What's Trending, Minister.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, Minister, what are the top priorities for your ministry during the remainder of your term?
There's so many. As you would know, our first and foremost priority is joining CARICOM in what was Vision 25 by 2025. What that really entails is us reducing our food import bill, which is currently pegged at almost $1 billion. The aim is to reduce that by 25% by the end of the year 2025. Our CARICOM brothers and sisters have realized the enormity of this task, and so that margin has now been extended to 2030.
Okay.
Because each member state, you know, has their own unique challenges, the Bahamas included, and to take on a mammoth task like this, we've realized collectively that we may need a bit more time to achieve that goal.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So how is the government supporting small-scale farmers and businesses in terms of funding, training, and infrastructure?
Oh, well, I can tell you it's been an exciting approach. Earlier, we partnered with SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, with the view to assisting farmers and fishermen with upwards of $1 million. The second time around we did it, we decided to focus more on the fishing sector. So $600,000 were dedicated to the marine resources aspect and $400,000 towards the farming sector of the ministry. That was a huge success. Fortunately for us, we found out that a lot of would-be recipients weren't able to qualify for various numbers of reasons. Some persons may have lost relevant documents, were not able to sign on online. So we did it again. And we upped the ante from $1 million to $1.6 million, and it was widely received, and it was a great boost for farmers and fishermen throughout the country. You know, we realized that this is something that is absolutely necessary, because fishing and farming are both expensive industries, and, you know, persons need all the help that they can get.
That is true. Well, Minister, you were in Exuma over the past weekend donating to the farmers in that region. Can you tell us more about the purpose for your visit and how these donations are expected to impact the local agriculture community?
Well, our visit to Exuma is a part of what the ministry is doing in order to achieve food security throughout the length and breadth of the Bahamas. Sometimes we tend to be a bit Nassau-centric, and we may believe that Nassau is the Bahamas. Well, that certainly isn't the case. So last year we did a visit to Abaco, where we also held a town hall meeting there. And whilst in Exuma, we had a town hall meeting to hear from the farmers and fishermen, to hear their challenges, to see how we could address them. And just as importantly, we also went to take some goodies. You know, anytime you're visiting, it's always
good to your hands swinging.
Definitely not. And so, you know, we visited the island with a brand new tractor, a brand new truck, a brand new boat, the contender, and a trailer. All of these things are to go towards the advancement of the agriculture and marine resources sector on the island. We also visited the Ellen Coakley School and Farmers Key with a view to supplying them with chickens, layers, as a matter of fact, to supplement the layer program they have going on at that school. And I can tell you those students are, you know, some of the best. They're extremely passionate and knowledgeable about what it is they're doing. And as you would know, we are just coming through a period, an era of somewhat of an egg crisis. And so we want to do as much as we can to ensure that there's self-sufficiency throughout the Bahamas. So we also intend to visit tomorrow. Our permanent secretary is going to Grand Bahama with a view of us taking 100 layers down to West End. On Wednesday, our undersecretary is going to be in Cat Island with a view of taking another 100 layers there. And so we want to share the love throughout the length and breadth of the archipelago. We also intend to visit Auckland before the end of the month, and hopefully within the first week or two in April, we get to visit the big yard, Andres, where we are taking 3,000 layers to the Bamsi site in Andres, along with some other things that I wouldn't mention at this time because we want to maintain the surprise. But what we're aiming to do is we're aiming to reduce the impact of catastrophic risk and take advantage of our country being an archipelago. You know, I indicated when I was in Exuma that the benefit we have of being an archipelago is, God forbid there's an outbreak of bird flu in Nassau, then we have Farmers Key. We have the Ellen Coakley High School that we can rely on. We have the farm that we'll be visiting in the West End, and also the farmers market in Grand Key. So we want to take advantage of what was normally seen as a challenge or a disadvantage and use it to our benefit, after seeing what our brothers in North America have experienced with bird flu being one large landmass.
So obviously tell us what were some of the challenges the farmers were experiencing right now? Obviously you said these donations would assist them, but are there any other concerns that they would have had and expressed to you? Well,
I can tell you, everyone who attended, you know, those who raised issues, they were extremely vocal, and we appreciate that, because it's not just, we don't want to be seen as if we're coming from island to island and just simply telling people what to do, telling them what we think. This is a joint venture. We want to hear, listen, analyze, and then come back and act. And so some of their major concerns, believe it or not, was the impact of the peacock population on the island of Exuma. Those peacocks, as pretty as they are, they have a very hefty appetite for fruits and vegetables. Wow. So you go to sleep one night with a beautiful lush farm, and you wake up in the morning and everything's gone. And so we're looking at ways to address that issue with the provision of animal traps for them and some other inexpensive means of fencing. Secondly, there was also questions as to how the government is assisting farmers monetarily, and so we had some good dialogue about all of the exemptions that are available. And out of that, we learned that a lot of people were not aware as to exactly what is available. So upon our return to Nassau, we have had discussions to see how perhaps we can upgrade our Facebook page, our website, to ensure that persons, by the click of a button, can see exactly what it is that agriculture and marine resources has to offer in terms of exemptions. There was also a request for a farmers and fishers market. And so we are now in talks with a public-private partner to sort of see how we can bring that to fruition for them.
Well, that definitely sounds good. Minister, before you go, we want to wish you, or the team here at What's Trending, a very happy birthday. We hope you have an amazing day, and thank you for spending some of your time with us. And again, we hope you, or wish you, all the greatest success in your ministry's endeavors as well.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Well, it's St. Paddy's Day, and we have news that you don't want to miss. That and so much more after the break. Stay with us.
Diet-friendly special.
For more than 30 years, thousands have attended the annual Bahamas Bridal Show to enjoy a spectacular fashion show, fun and games, food and champagne, and $30,000 in prizes, including honeymoons. On Sunday, March 23rd at Grand Hyatt Bahama, come see the reason the Bahamas Bridal Show is the ultimate experience for weddings and special events. Show tickets, $75. Call 421-9783 or visit bahamasevents.net.
Welcome to What's Trending. Join me, Jiminita Swain.
And me, the Bahama Beauty, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m.
Only on the ZNS Network.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community. Also help with the education of our kids in this community and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Brass Band, a Bahamian company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
It's that magical time of year when everyone's Irish, whether they know how to pronounce Tisha or not. And if you're looking for the pot of gold, it's probably at the end of a rainbow cocktail. Yes, today is the day when we all become part-time experts in Irish folklore. And if you do manage to find that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, make sure to share some of it. We've got headlines that are guaranteed to make you green with envy. In today's top stories, cities across the globe are experiencing a massive spike in green clothing sales. Whether it's a full-on leprechaun look or just a strategically placed shamrock on your t-shirt, no one is safe from the allure of St. Paddy's Day wardrobe. Retailers are reporting that green is the new black, although we're pretty sure that's just because no one dares to wear orange today. Also, we're seeing more and more people trying to catch the luck of the Irish with their St. Paddy's Day festivities. In fact, local bars are claiming this holiday has the highest rate of, let's say, unplanned karaoke performances. Last year, local bars reported a spike in performances of Danny Boy that could only be described as passionate. If not entirely in tune, we're now accepting all donations for earplugs to get us through tonight's celebrations. Now let's talk food. It's the one day of the year when everyone becomes a self-proclaimed corned beef expert. But is it really a St. Patrick's Day feast without a side of mashed potatoes that's been dyed way too green? Some of us are calling it questionable cuisine, while others are calling it deliciously festive. I know Chef Mark whipped up something green for St. Patty's Day, and just because they're way too busy trying to get through airport security with their pots of gold. As always, folks, stay lucky, stay safe, and may the luck of the Irish follow you everywhere, except maybe your next Zoom meeting. Well, after the break, we have the Bahama Beauty in studio to tell us the latest buzz that's been happening on social media. Stay tuned.
Here at Immigration Care Service, you can trust us, especially if you have experienced issues or problems with the U.S. immigration at the borders. We'll do our best to provide options and solutions to immigration roadblocks, so travelers can continue visiting the U.S. and residents can continue living their lives in the U.S. without worries. The best part? Our services are affordable and accessible. Take the mystery, confusion, and fear out of your immigration concerns. Contact Immigration Care Service today.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, but we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SPDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Diet-friendly special.
It's Monday, and you know what that means. The Bahama Beauty is here to tell us everything that happened on social media over the weekend.
I'm the Bahama Beauty, and here's what's the buzz for this week. You can take the Bahamian from the Bahamas, but you will never take the Bahamas out of that Bahamian. If it's one thing we're going to do is carry our culture global, and Walmart is no exception. Check out this Junkanoo rush hour that happened in a Miami Walmart location over the weekend. Love is absolutely in the air for footballers this spring. The dynamic duo of NFL star DK Metcalf and pop sensation Normani have just thrown a curveball into our timelines with their surprise engagement. The announcement came during Metcalf's press conference introducing him as the newest member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he couldn't contain his excitement.
You proposed yesterday?
Yes, sir. She right there. Hold it, rock up, baby.
My family and her family was in Houston. It was my sister's spring break, and just thought about getting the whole family together just for a big kumbaya and, you know, joining our families, you know, with the ring.
Their love story reads like a modern fairy tale, sparked by a blind date set up by none other than music icon Ciara and her husband, NFL quarterback Russell Wilson. Introduced in 2020, the couple confirmed their relationship on Instagram in 2023, and now, just 2 years later, they're taking the plunge into marital bliss. Fans and friends alike are over the moon about the news. Ciara couldn't resist sharing her joy, posting a heartfelt TikTok celebrating the couple's journey from their first meeting to this exciting new chapter. Talk about the biggest fumble of all time. Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert are officially divorced, and the messy details hit social media over the weekend, and audiences were absolutely stunned. Taylor was awarded 4 of their homes worth over $10 million, as well as a $300,000 Maybach, a $70,000 Mercedes Sprinter, a tour bus, and for the cherry on top, a one-time 7-figure payout. She will also retain ownership and all profits of all of her businesses. Shumpert was also ordered to pay Taylor $8,000 per month and to cover the cost of education for their 2 daughters, Junie and Ruth. All thanks to a crucial infidelity clause within the pair's prenuptial agreement. Of course, the men had social media in an uproar. This user, stating, "When we say most wealthy women come up off men, this is what we mean. But anyways, he's stupid. I'd have never agreed to an infidelity clause." Another adding, "Look how the courts did this man. Yet it's people telling DDG just to go to court. These are the type of things that happen to black men in relationship court. Marriage is extortion. You can't convince me otherwise." Another posting, "Anybody that's saying don't get married or it's about her taking everything really don't read. All he had to do was not cheat, and that's it." Congrats, Tiana, and enjoy your multi-millions. If you would like to be a part of What's Trending, DM us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS.
Clint Watson has been the trusted voice of journalism for over 2 decades. He is your first choice for hard-hitting discussions, your best choice for current affairs issues and investigative journalism. It's time to start the journey of relentless journalism. It's time to start the journey of facts over fiction. It's time for the Rundown with Clint Watson here on ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Dr. Gale, and I'm inviting you to be a part of a journey where we open the Word of God to receive strength, to receive empowerment from the Scriptures as they have been written. Get your Bibles, get your cup of coffee or your tea, because this journey is gonna be great. This is your day of victory.
We seem to remember our athletes when they make us proud at the finish line. Throw a Junkanoo parade when they return home, toss them a few dollars, and then forget about them until the next Members of the prestigious Fourth Estate should never sell themselves to any politician. Instead, keep their hands and noses clean in order to publish or broadcast the unadulterated truth. Well, that's how I see it anyway.
Read as I see it, exclusively at ZNSBahamas.com. New articles premiere on Mondays at 9 a.m.
On Tuesday's show in studio, we have Stacy from BTC, and you know when Stacy comes, she is bringing deals. Our friends from the Perfume Bar will be in studio to show some of the latest fragrances. Well, that's all the time we have for today. A huge thank you to our incredible guests for sharing their insights and stories with us. As always, we will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. with more exciting guests, thought-provoking conversations, and a lot of laughs only on the ZNS network. See you later.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
Coming up in the news tonight, a massive brush fire threatening homes and property on Midshipman Road in Grand Bahama. Also, Minister of National Security breaks down the police housing policy. And later, local government officers sworn in and ready to officially serve.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll-Parkes, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news tonight, firefighters at the hour fighting a massive brush fire on Midshipman Road that is threatening homes and property in the area. Now, it was said to be a scary situation for many residents, and tonight, they are hopeful that the blaze can be put out with any damage to residents of that community. Our Ramiko Knowles was on the ground all day, and he joins us live now. Ramiko, has the situation gotten any better?
Well, Shayna, I wish I can tell you that things have gotten better, but at this present moment, it has not. The wind speed is picking up, which means that the fire, the smoke is intensifying and spreading across 3 portions of East Grand Bahama right now. We know that the Grand Bahama Highway, along with Midshipman Road and East Sunrise Highway, is actively at blaze right now. Police officials, along with fire officials, have been hard at work since about 12 o'clock this afternoon, attacking this blaze. As a matter of fact, if you look just behind me, you can see one of the fire trucks here on Grand Bahama retrieving water from one of the fire hydrants. Of course, this is a high traffic area at the moment because a lot of the traffic is being diverted onto Midshipman and Churchill Drive. But just a few moments ago, we had 3 fire engines here retrieving water. And so that's a good sign that they are actively at work attacking this blaze. Right now, the caution light is out. So that means within this area, there possibly may not be any power. We did speak with GB Power officials earlier who said that they had to turn out portions of this area because some of the poles caught on fire and some of the transformers have blown. We spoke to some of the residents because we've been out here since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. We spoke to many of the residents. One of the vehicles caught on fire and they've been home since about 12 o'clock, some 3 o'clock, some just arriving home and trying to protect their properties from receiving any damage from this blaze that has been attacking threatening their home since about 12 o'clock this afternoon. So this is a very serious situation taking place in Grand Bahama at the moment. Standing by with me is Press Liaison Officer Stephen Roll, who is going to give us an update as to what police officials along with fire officials are doing at this moment to contain this blaze. And if you can see just in the rear of me, the smoke is intensifying, and that's why they are actively trying to keep traffic at bay in this area. But this has been an active day for police. Stephen Roll, what are police doing at this present moment?
Well, because you can see, we've got 2 fire trucks on scene along with our partners. The fire spread very widely through this area, Grand Bahama, Midshipman Road, of course, East Sunrise Highway. So we're doing our best to try to get the fire under control. As you can see behind me, the fire is still ablaze, but nevertheless, the fire department is doing their part to get the fire under control. However, I want to advise the public, those who live in this area, if you have to come in this area, please drive with care and attention, because the fire is actually spreading enough to when it's picked up. And also, those who don't live in this area, please, if you can, avoid this area as best as possible. And if you come in this area, please drive with due care and attention because there's plenty of smoke and the visibility is very, very low.
Okay. And at this present moment, you mentioned that fire officials are on the scene. How long do you think that this will persist? As you mentioned, the wind is picking up.
Well, they're going to remain on scene until this fire is subsided and is fully extinguished.
Have you heard anything about property or any injuries at this present time?
At present, no injuries reported. Minor property damages, probably 1 or 2 vehicles or vessel. That's it.
But at this present moment, police are urging persons who are traversing this area to drive with due care and attention.
Oh, that's correct, sir, yes.
There's been a concern about the fire trucks. You also mentioned that 3 was on the scene earlier today, and they've been actively attempting to tackle this blaze.
We've got 4 now. So like I said, our partners are assisting us very greatly. So they're out in full force. We got the whole area covered, surrounded by fire trucks. So we're fighting this fire from all ends.
What areas are actually at blaze at this moment?
If you see right behind me, Shipping Road, the Blowing Drive, and of course on East Ryan's Highway. So if you can avoid those areas, please stay far from those areas. And also if you come in these areas, please drive with due care and attention.
Thank you so much. Press Liaison Officer Stephen Roll. I'm also here with Eddie Victor, who has been someone who has been notifying residents in this area to drive with due care and attention and to come home and protect their property, if possible, from about 12 o'clock this afternoon.
Yes, my wife and myself, once we were aware of the extent of this fire, we had made sure to advise everyone to take every possible action they can to secure their home, primarily by wetting the surrounding areas, your roof, your gas tanks, anything that can possibly catch on fire. I've never seen the fire to this extent widespread. This is unusual because you're talking about Acacia Groves, Lincoln Park, Chesapeake Subdivision, Green and Glades, Fortune Point by Club Fortuna. There are fires in multiple different areas that are raging. And so you cannot take these fires lightly. And I can talk from experience because our church burned down because of a forest fire. And what is so similar to what happened back then and now is this gusting wind. During the fire that burnt down our church, we had winds similar to this. And it's the wind that is driving the fire. And so we just encourage residents, take every precaution you can and protect your home. And especially pay attention to the elderly. There are a lot of elderly persons here. This smoke is not good for them. If you have to move them, if they're not in a secure location, move them to a much better area where we don't have the fire.
All right. Thank you so much, Pastor Eddie Victor, speaking from personal experience, having lost their church because of a bushfire. Once again, police officials are urging everyone that's traversing this area to drive with due care and attention. As he mentioned earlier, that they will be on the scene until they contain the blaze, which is active on Grand Bahama Highway, East Sunrise Highway, and also on Midshipman Road. Live from Midshipman for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Ramiko Knowles, back to you in studio, Shana.
Excellent reporting as always, Ramiko, and of course we will continue to follow this story. Well, the Grand Bahama Power Company has issued an emergency power outage notice as a result of this ongoing brush fire. The system in these areas have been de-energized for the safety of all customers and the emergency team. Now, these areas include Fortune Point, Fortune Key, Garden of the Groves, Shannon Drive, Chesapeake, Spanish Main Drive, Mater Town, as well as Lincoln Park subdivision. And of course, the power company is apologizing for any inconvenience caused. And according to the press release, restoration efforts will begin once it is safe to do so. Well, one day after opposition leader Michael Pintard hosted a press conference on police officers in the housing subdivision here on Grand Bahama who overstayed their time, comes a strong statement by Minister of National Security Wayne Munroe, who tonight says he's setting the record straight. Our Shane Stubbs has more in this report.
The Ministry of National Security should immediately withdraw that letter so that they are able to address what will be a housing crisis for officers.
That's Opposition Leader the Honorable Michael Pintard in a press conference addressing the police housing issue. But tonight the minister is firing back. Through a statement released yesterday evening, Minister Munroe says Michael Pintard's reckless and misleading statements on police housing show a clear disregard for facts and a willingness to politicize a routine administrative matter. Before making baseless claims, he should have done his due diligence and sought the truth instead of irresponsibly spreading falsehoods. The facts are clear. No police officer has been forced onto the streets. The housing assessment applies to officers who have lived in government-provided rentals for at least 5 years, some for as long as 2 decades, at the expense of the police budget. Every officer was given ample notice and multiple options. Officers received 3 to 6 months notice to transition to private accommodations. If additional time was needed, they were instructed to make a formal request. Not a single officer has submitted such a request. The commissioner acted within the law and long-standing policy. The force's standing orders outlined the rules regarding housing, and officers who were unaware of them were provided copies. Some officers had already secured private housing while still occupying government rentals. The statement furthers, once an officer is deemed domiciled, meaning they have lived in a government-provided residence beyond the entitled period of 5 to 6 years, the financial obligation should no longer fall on the government. The reality is that for years, the government has continued to absorb these housing costs despite officers surpassing the period of entitlement. This has resulted in a situation where public funds have been used for expenses that should have been the responsibility of the officers themselves. The Commissioner of Police is now correcting the issue by enforcing the standard policy. Once an officer is deemed domiciled, they must either assume responsibility for their housing costs or relocate. Officers have been given 6 months to make their arrangements. The government has also forgiven the financial obligations that officers should have assumed long ago, a move that underscores fairness, not hardship. Unlike my predecessor, I will not interfere with the independent administration of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. The statement continues, it is very clear that the Free National Movement does not respect the independence of the Royal Bahamas Police Force or the Office of the Commissioner. Instead of consulting or seeking to understand the matter, they resort to making foolish and irresponsible commentary. Pintar's decision to ignore the facts proves that his goal was never to advocate for the officers, but rather to manufacture controversy for political gain. This kind of reckless behavior from the leader of the opposition is not just irresponsible, it is dishonest. The government remains committed to ensuring that public resources are used fairly and effectively while supporting the men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. We will not be distracted by political gamesmanship, nor will we allow misinformation to go unchallenged. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
There you have it. Well, switching gears now, how will the Trump administration's tariffs impact the Bahamas, and what can the country do to weather the impact? The Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce president weighing in with our Cleopatra Murphy.
Fears over increased inflation, recession, and other economic setbacks are just some of the concerns expressed in the Bahamas and globally in the face of a global trade war, the result of U.S. President Donald Trump's announced 25% tariffs on goods from Mexico, Canada, and China. However, after what has already been several starts and pauses since Trump's initial February 1st executive order, President of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce Dylan Knowles is skeptical to what extent tariffs will be implemented, but is weighing their impact at home.
If he implements these tariffs, they obviously have the potential to have significant impact on us as a nation, as we import almost everything that we use from the U.S. And any tariff increases that they're going to pay on the goods that they import and then sell to us is going to trickle down to us.
Minister of Economic Affairs Senator the Honorable Michael Keatis, too, has voiced concerns over the trickle-down effect and the impact the trade war could have on economies in the U.S., Canada, and the EU, potentially triggering a recession. Effects already being felt as the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, has lowered Canada's growth projections to 0.7% from 2%, also expecting Mexico's economy to shrink 1.3% after a previously expected 1.2% growth this year. When it comes to goods, Knowles says while it previously served the Bahamas to source from the U.S., the Bahamas would have to increasingly look at other markets.
The logistics of us buying from the U.S. is always more economical for us than trying to execute the logistics by bringing it directly from the original manufacturers. What tariffs might push that balance in the opposite direction, and then we will have to seek to source goods at the original manufacturers or elsewhere. This is all part of the challenges of business life and life in the global environment in which we live.
He says it is something the Bahamas will have to adapt to, as it is never a good idea to have all your eggs in one basket.
We as a country tend to be very comfortable with who we are and where we are and how we do things, and sometimes you require a little shake-up. So it could end up being a good thing for us.
The Trump tariffs still aren't done, with reciprocal tariffs set to take effect on April 2nd. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Thanks, Cleo. And on to some lighter news. Local government officers sworn in and ready to officially serve. Our Jolanda Thompson Everest was there for the special ceremony and filed this report.
A long-awaited ceremony marked the official swearing in of 7 councillors and 1 chief councillor as they took their oath and became local government representatives. Family and friends gathered at Pelican Bay Resort to witness this significant occasion. The newly elected officials expressed their eagerness to get to work and serve the people of Grand Bahama. The Honorable Ginger Moxie delivered remarks highlighting that this moment signifies a renewed commitment to progress, recovery, and transformation of the beautiful island of Grand Bahama.
As you, the newly elected council members, some new and some old, take on this crucial responsibility, know that you are not alone. The community of Grand Bahama is rooting for you.
Minister Moxie states that the Progressive Liberal Party recognizes local government as the voice of the people.
For this reason, we enacted the Local Government Bill 2024, a critical piece of legislation that prioritizes every island's needs by decentralizing the decision-making process and placing the power in the hands of local bodies who possess first-hand knowledge in their community needs.
Newly elected Chief Councillor Kendall Culmer declaring his intentions to collaborate with the Port Authority, the government, and anyone willing to work alongside local government to help make Grand Bahama great again.
Politically, we may sit on different sides, but we all know what our goal is, to better our community and work together as one.
The newly elected councillors took a moment to express their gratitude to those who played a key role in helping them reach this point, thanking everyone responsible for their success.
It is a declaration of our dedication to work for the betterment of our communities.
With the Chief Councillor, I want to thank him for his charge to make sure that we stay accountable to the people that put us where we are today as councillors.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
And still to come.
When we come back, we bring you the highlights of the 2025 Junior Junkanoo Parade, the details of these stories, sports, and more straight ahead when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
Hear that? If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country, pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Calling all local musicians. Celebration Key is holding auditions on March 27th. Showcase your talent and bring the rhythm of the Bahamas to the world. Register today and be part of the magic. The night before, a gripping stage production by S.L. Shepard live at the Regency Theater, March 27th to the 29th at 8 p.m. with a special matinee on March 30th at 5 p.m. Tickets are $30, available at Imagine Graphics, the 17 shop, and Gregory's Fine Foods. Get ready for the Freeport Business Expo Tourism Edition 2, happening May 1st and 2nd. Network, explore, and grow with top industry leaders. Register today at freeportbusinessexpo.com. Zing has more of what you need, from organic, gluten-free, and vegan snacks to eco-friendly products. They offer healthier choices every day. Visit number 8 West Cedar Street or call 812-5755. Zing, where better choices begin. Celebration Key presents the Lifeguard Swim Test in Freeport. Join the action at the YMCA on March 27th at 9 a.m. Walk-in registrations are welcome. Scan the code to register today and take the first step toward becoming a lifeguard.
It's the second annual Turks and Caicos. Come go with me. Musical and Jazz Festival, June 5th through 9th. Book your airline tickets now with BritishAirways.com, BahamasAir.com, or InterCaribbean.com.
It's the second annual Turks and Caicos Come Go With Me Musical and Jazz Festival, June 5th through 9th. Book your hotel now at Ports of Call Resort, Turks and Caicos. Daily breakfast included. Short distance from the event. Email now. Reservations at portsofcallresort.com using discount code CONCERT15.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. This past weekend, the streets of Grand Bahama came alive with the sights and sounds of the 2025 Junior Junkanoo Parade, showcasing an unforgettable celebration of culture, creativity, and rhythm. Students from preschools to senior schools joined forces to deliver energetic performances, bringing their unique themes to life and highlighting the future of Junkanoo in the Bahamas. Raven Davis has a recap.
It's the greatest show on earth, and this past weekend we saw exactly why, as schools from all across Grand Bahama came together to showcase a vibrant explosion of culture, creativity, and rhythm in the highly anticipated 2025 Grand Bahama Junior Junkanoo Parade. This year, the parade featured a spectacular array of participants from preschools, primary schools, the all-age division, junior high schools, and senior schools, all stepping into the spotlight on Explorers Way. The parade kicking off with the adorable and energetic little darlings from Rising Star Christian Academy, who led the way with their theme, the 10 Little Indians. Bringing the sweetness to Explorers Way was Growing Years Preschool with their theme, Candyland. Their Junkanoo performance dazzling the crowd with lively choreography. Kindercare followed with a fun theme, You Are What You Eat. The little ones danced as dancing watermelons, ice creams, and fries, bringing a playful energy to the route. Letty's Paradise followed with God's Promise Never Fails. As the parade continued, 5 primary schools joined the festivities, bringing their own unique themes and performances. Despite their small in numbers, the competition was fierce. Louisard Primary took a more futuristic approach with Junkanoo in the Stars, a theme that transported the audience into outer space. Aliens, astronauts, and shooting stars filled the streets, capturing the imagination of everyone watching. Little Primary sailed into the parade with their nautical theme presentation, Sailing into Excellence, showcasing the adventurous spirit of the sea and the journey toward greatness. While Campbell Primary reflected on nostalgia with their theme, Bring Back the Good Old Days. Martintown Primary wrapped up the primary school segment with their heartwarming theme, All Things Bright and Beautiful. In the all-age division, Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy stepped up with their theme, Nothing Covers the Bahamas Like the Sun, which resonated deeply with our news team. We saw the anchor desk hit the route and an anchor who reminded us of our very own Ramiko Knowles. Newcomers Summit Heights Preparatory made a lasting impression with their theme, The Circus, impressing the crowd with their creativity and execution. The Beacon School, always a crowd favorite, brought their signature energy and vibrant creativity to the parade once again. Their theme, Winter Wonderland, brought the North Pole to this tropical climate. Now, San Juan Baptist Academy also carrying the crowd into an imaginative journey in the sky with their theme, Up, Up, and Away. As the parade moved into the junior high school division, the energy only intensified. The crowd cheered for Jack Hayward Junior High School with their theme, Going Back to the Islands. Sister Mary Patricia School took the audience on a nostalgic journey with their Blast from the Past theme, offering a throwback to the golden days of Bahamian culture, music, and tradition. Then there was the seniors. St. George's High School impressed with their theme, 4 Seasons. Their creative costumes and elaborate designs made them stand out, and they certainly lived up to their title as the defending champions. Jack Hayward High presented their theme, Eastern Asian Costume Festival. Their performance captured the elegance and grandeur of traditional Eastern Asian festivals with colorful costumes and graceful movements. But the excitement reached new heights as Amarok High School hit the parade route with their cartoon theme. As soon as their characters appeared, the crowd erupted in excitement, shouting Blue Jays, with beloved characters from past and present like Flintstones and PJ Masks making their appearance. In the end, though, there could only be one winner in each category. Taking the parade home in the preschool division is Growing Years Preschool. In the primary school division was Bartlett Hill. In the all-age division was Summit Heights Preparatory. And taking the crown down to 8 Mile Rock was the Blue Jays of 8 Mile Rock High School in the senior division. Now, as these young performers showcased their hard work and talent, it's clear to see that the future of Junkanoo is in good hands. For the Bahamas tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
And that's a look at stories making news. Here's a check on Health is Wealth, sponsored by Doctors Hospital.
March is recognized as Kidney Awareness Month. As a nephrologist, which is a doctor that specializes in diseases of the kidneys and hypertension, I strive to raise awareness about disease prevention and early detection. Kidney diseases are silent killers and can largely affect your quality of life. In the Bahamas, like most countries worldwide, diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure and is the most common diagnosis for those persons on dialysis. Hypertension follows closely behind as the second leading cause. Because of this, prevention strategies are enforced to help decrease the incidence worldwide. There's also a clear need for higher awareness, timely diagnosis, and proper follow-up, especially in pregnancy. So during this month, we call on everyone to check with your doctor to determine if you are at risk. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and remember, your greatest wealth is your health.
That's a wrap on news in the North. Jay, what's happening in sports?
Up in sports, best of the best basketball tournament next weekend.
Okay, you'll be featured?
I think so. I think you're playing as well, too.
You got that right.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
See news in the making? Call us at 352-9713 or 359-5167, or you can email us at zns3news@gmail.com.
JS Events and JMC TCI presents 8 Mile Rock Homecoming. Sunday, April 20th at Sunset Village Fish Fry, 8 Mile Rock. Featuring live KB, T-Mac, Chino D, Wilfred Sullivan. Backed by the top tier band. Music by Kiko T. Live on the turntables. 8 Mile Rock Homecoming also presents the Last Man Sitting Domino Tournament. Special guest appearance by the Swingers Junkanoo Group. 8 Mile Rock Homecoming. Sunday, April 20th at Sunset Village Fish Fry, 8 Mile Rock. Gates open at 7 p.m. Showtime at 8 p.m. Tickets are $20 at the gate. Don't miss it. Sunday, April 20th at Sunset Village Fish Fry, 8 Mile Rock. Let the party begin.
Here at Freeport Decorators, we have hundreds of products for you to choose from. Whether you're in the market for trophies, plaques, rubber stamps, corporate signs, any kind of interior signage, stamps, or seals, we're your one-stop shop. We feature glass, acrylic, crystal awards for every occasion. We build all the trophies here on site. Looking for a gift item? We feature pens, key rings, mugs, tumblers, barbecue tools, even bamboo cutting boards. Have something already? Bring it on down. Let us see if we can print that special something on it for you. Need a headstone? Memorialize the memory of your loved one with a beautifully lasered granite marker. Our store hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. We focus on customization. So if you have an idea or a new concept, bring it on down or call us at 352-5557 or even WhatsApp your idea to us at 646-0777, and we will do our best to make your awards and recognition ideas a reality.
Here at Island Bedding, we provide Bahamians a local option for factory direct quality sleep products. We have also expanded to include a range of furniture and home accessories. Check out our new living room pieces, including sectional, TV stands, accent tables, and more. Come on down to Island Bedding and feast your eyes on prices you have to see to believe. Located at number 5 Queens Highway, across from Caribbean Veterinarian.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate.
Guess what? Budget Pest Control has something important to show you. Coctoderma's former Salus, the super termite. What makes them super? Their ferocious appetite can attack your home from below and above. They even attack forestry. But don't worry. Budget Pest Control has extensively studied this species on Grand Bahama. You can even check out our scientific paper. So you can count on us to protect your investment. Call Budget Pest Control, the termite specialist.
What is Business Fit? Business Fit is a group health insurance package offered by BAF Financial. What are some of the benefits of Business Fit? No deductible, dental and vision care, hospital room and board, surgical treatment, labs, medication and drugs, maternity, doctors, clinics, specialist visits, chemotherapy and radiation treatment, air and ground ambulance, and preventative care. Business Fit, offered by BAF Financial.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Unfortunately, Jay, we didn't have time to get to sports, but we will have that full report in tomorrow evening's newscast. But on behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shoshana Roll-Parkinson.
And I'm Jay Philippe.
Thank you so much for tuning in. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, whatever it takes to protect the interest of Bahamians. The Prime Minister weighs in on the United States' increasing pressure against the Caribbean. Also, Bahamas Power and Light signs a major agreement for the installation of a 20-megawatt solar energy system, moving the country closer to renewable energy. Tune in to hear what this entails. And an extensive search ends with a non-Bahamian beating out tens of candidates to become UB's next president. Find out what factored into the top pick. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. The Davis administration's hoping America's expansion of its Cuba-related visa restriction policy doesn't strike here or any of the Caribbean, for that matter. This as regional leaders hold firm on their stance to keep Cuban medical professionals who are critical to health care, even though the U.S. government claims these missions amount to human trafficking. Altaviz Munnings leads us off tonight with the Prime Minister's latest comments on the issue. Altaviz?
Good evening, Kushla, and good evening, Bahamas. I can tell you that Caribbean leaders are pushing back against the U.S. government's threats to revoke the visas of officials who support Cuba's medical missions program. In fact, several regional prime ministers have made it clear that they would rather forfeit their access to the United States than compromise health care for their citizens. And that includes our very own Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis. When questioned on the issue today, he told reporters the Bahamas, or no Caribbean country for that matter, will intentionally engage forced labor.
Before we engage anyone from Cuba, we send a team of professionals, sometimes numbering up to 12, to interview persons who would like to fill the needs that we have, and that has been the case. We will not intentionally or willingly engage in matters that amount to forced labor. In fact, our Constitution it is enshrined in our Constitution not to participate in forced labor or slavery.
Health and Wellness Minister, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, told the Nassau Guardian that losing the handful of Cuban medical professionals in the Bahamas would deal a blow to the optometry program that's helping hundreds of Bahamians deal with critical eye issues and could delay treatment for many others awaiting care. The Prime Minister isn't prepared to lose these vital health professionals either, and he's fully committed to fighting for the Bahamas on all levels.
Will know is that I'm in for their interests. Whatever it takes to protect their interests, I'm willing and prepared to do. And we'll be responding comprehensively to the requests asked of us. And if that does not find favor, well then, so be it.
And the government treasures its relationship with the Cuban doctors here. Health Minister Darville even told the Nassau Guardian that because of the Cuban doctors' help, significant work has been made in clearing up a COVID-induced backlog here in the Bahamas. Mokashla?
Well, also, I think what's important here on the issue of labor, that is how are these individuals being paid? That's the sticking point for many people.
Well, the Prime Minister said today that some of the medical professionals, when they get paid, a portion of their salary does go back home. And he even reminisced that same system worked back in the late 30s, 40s, and 50s when Bahamian farmers were working in the U.S. and they sent their salary back here to the Bahamas.
Well, thanks again. That's our Aldavis Munnings joining us live in studio. Meantime, international reports cite that 43 countries may be on a complete U.S. travel ban. On the draft list, 5 Caribbean nations, namely St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Cuba. When asked if the Bahamas is wary about being there, here's what the Prime Minister shared.
We have no concerns about being banned from the United States. I think once we sit down and dialogue, the United States will understand the plight of all my Caribbean brothers and sisters, and they will respond.
Well, a major step forward in the country's renewable energy transition. Meantime, Bahamas Power and Light Company today signing an agreement to boost solar energy. Our Devontae Hannah has the details in this next report.
A push towards a cleaner, more sustainable energy future taking shape as Bahamas Power and Light Company today signed on the dotted line of a power purchasing agreement with Madeline Solar Power Limited, paving the way for a 20-megawatt solar energy system to be installed.
And what does that mean for you? Lower energy costs, greater energy security, and a healthier environment for all.
Those points at the fore of the government's goal of achieving 30% renewable energy by 2030, adding to the desire to provide better electricity service for all.
This project will integrate seamlessly into the national grid, adding critical capacity right here at Blue Hills Power Station.
Now, construction for the grid is expected to happen over the next 18 months and should be commissioned over the next year. Now, as it relates to the construction phase, up to 100 Bahamians are expected to be employed, and officials believe that through the integration of this grid, it will lead to direct savings for the Bahamian people.
Once you have that direct sunlight and it's powering and creating energy, sending it into the grid, the fuel cost that you naturally would see as a part of your bill, that portion is eliminated for the amount that you use from the renewables.
Madeline Solar Power Limited, a Bahamian-owned company, now sits at the cusp of what is expected to be a new dawn for energy in the Bahamas.
Combined with the already operational facility of Lucayas Solar Power in Freeport and the parallel build-out of the facility in Exuma, we will become the largest single independent power producer throughout the archipelago.
They earned the project through a request for proposals launched by the Davis administration last year and will be held accountable should they fail to live up to their end of the bargain.
The PPA for this project includes clearly defined key performance indicators and penalties for non-performance. Provisions have also been included to lock down rates, which will ultimately protect Bahamian households and businesses.
Officials say the transition to solar energy will not only reduce the country's reliance on fossil fuels, but also help stabilize electricity costs and, by extension, provide hope for.
Well, in related news, the government's moved a step closer to finalizing its deal with Pike Electric, with only a few outstanding matters left in the hands of the transition team. Energy Minister, the Honourable JoBeth Colby Davis, today confirming that negotiations for the 25-year deal are in its final stages to ensure a smooth handover.
That is focused entirely on making sure that we do the secondment to the standard in HR and BPL policies. And
we do apologize for that technical difficulty. Coming up, though, UB names its new president. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country, pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
This one? No. Hey, look, KFC has an incredible promo.
I already had that for lunch.
Crunch your hunger cravings and satisfy the whole family with KFC bucket meals starting at just $20. Get freshly prepared golden fried chicken, buttery biscuits, and add your favorite large size. Bucket meals starting at just $20. KFC, finger licking good.
Experience the difference with BTC's fixed services. Whether you're working from home or enjoying family time, BTC ensures you're always in touch with the people and moments that count. BTC isn't just a service, it's a lifestyle. Stay connected, stay inspired, and live your best life. BTC.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
What if I told you Wendy's has a new burger? With a flavor so secret, it's almost too delicious to handle. Well, now it's time to unlock that flavor. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger. We can't tell you everything, but we can tell you that it's packed with flavor, including our secret barbecue sauce. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time.
The news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
You're looking at a shot of the lake at Albany. Welcome back. The University of the Bahamas' Board of Trustees today announced its decision for the institution's new president, and this following a months-long exhaustive search that saw more than 90 candidates from here at home and across the globe vying for the top posts. Quavo Pyfrom reports now on who will be UB's fourth president.
In announcing the university's new president, Chair of the Board of Trustees, Allison Maynard Gibson, defended the selection process amid questions over why a Bahamian wasn't chosen.
The process was very inclusive. We're very happy to recognize that the finalists were all highly qualified people, and as you well know, that finalist also included a Bahamian.
But in the final analysis, Maynard Gibson says the committee, after receiving over 90 applicants, chose the candidate most suitable.
Today, we are pleased to announce that the new president of UB, effective the 1st of July 2025, is Dr. Robert Blaine III.
Dr. Robert Blaine III obtained degrees in music from the University of Rochester, Catholic University of America, and Indiana University. He currently serves as the Senior Executive and Director of the Center for Leadership, Education Advancement and Development, or LEAD, and the Center for Municipal Practice, National League of Cities based in Washington, D.C.
The Board of Trustees selected Dr. Blaine based on his vision and expertise, paired with his commitment to transformative education, which aligns with the university's mission and strategic priorities. He brings a wealth of experience in implementing sustainable quality enhancement initiatives and leading through complex regulatory landscapes.
The committee launched its search for a new president back in June of last year. The process included consultation and feedback from various stakeholders, including faculty, students, the business community, and unions. The pool of candidates was eventually narrowed to 3, with each finalist meeting and engaging with the university community. Dr. Blaine will succeed Janaine Hodder, who has served as acting president since 2023. Initially, there was some concern that there would be protests to this appointment. However, we've seen no indication of that. As for Dr. Blaine, his 3-year appointment will mark the institution's 13th presidency. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
Well, there may not have been a protest, but UB's board is not happy about it. But UB's board is happy about it, but the same can't be said in the case of the Union of Tertiary Educators of the Bahamas, who tonight is expressing what it says is its profound disappointment and even outrage over the decision to again appoint a non-Bahamian as UB's president. UTEB deeming this nothing short of a slap in the face to every qualified, competent, and committed Bahamian professional. The union's now calling on the government to exercise its influence to ensure the university does not go rogue and does not act against the best interest of the Bahamianization philosophy. UTEB vows that it will not be silent on what it calls this continued pattern of exclusion and is demanding present succession planning and mentorship programs. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news when we return.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
At BOB, we take pride in our business banking.
I chose Bank of the Bahamas because it was a Bahamian-owned bank. The bank has certainly supported our evolution through overdraft facilities, purchasing of equipment, facilitating of salary payments, and I really believe that Bank of the Bahamas is able to help in the development of the local economy. I would truly recommend the services at Bank of the Bahamas.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 700 Wines and Spirits, bringing celebration across the nation.
The No More campaign is a global movement to end sexual and domestic violence, and it's backed by the Commonwealth Group of Nations. From its headquarters in New York, wife of the Prime Minister, Mrs. Anne-Marie Davis, shared the story of suicide victim Charissa Culmer, showing how her tragedy is turning into triumph for other victims of violence. Our Felicity Darville fills us in.
The No More Silence, Speak Your Truth platform provides a safe space for those impacted by domestic violence. Leaders of the No More campaign heard from Ms. Anne-Marie Davis, who shared how her own activism has led to tangible results. In 2022, young Charissa Culmer was found hanging in a hotel room in front of her toddler. This alleged suicide sparked outrage from Mrs. Davis.
I was so angry at the vigil that they had for her. I stood up on the stage and I just beat up the police force, including the commissioner of police, for no security at the safe house, for not paying attention to her screams. No one is hearing. For her boyfriend who tortured her being on bail, who was monitoring his ankle bracelet. And I just went on and on and on. And the commissioner of police called me in his office and said he was going to make some changes. Everything that I called for, he was going to do it. And he did. And we are now going to open the safe house that he built to be more focused, to be totally focused on women and young girls.
Mistress Davis told the No More campaign that this is how to move from activism to action.
We are opening the new building that the Commissioner of Police started, and there's no new Commissioner of Police that we have, which is now a woman. I have spoken to her already, and she said, yes, we will be opening the new domestic violence unit at the end of this month.
Mistress Davis said that every Bahamian can take part in the No More campaign by speaking out against every act of disrespect and violence from the home to the community. From the Commonwealth headquarters in New York City for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Felicity Darville.
On a lighter note, liquid gold, but it's not petroleum. This product, though, providing a rich sweetness to any recipe. And get this, it's made locally. Our Danielle Dean tells us more.
It's a local brand dedicated to producing, then providing the Bahamian public with a healthier alternative to a popular product, honey. The golden liquid at 242B Masters has an array of health benefits. It acts as a cough suppressant, heals wounds, and even helps digestion. And if that wasn't enough?
So, you know, in food and dips, you can't double dip. Honey, you can double dip because it's antibacterial, antimicrobial.
Honey starts as a flower nectar, sugar-rich liquid produced by plants and glands called nectaries, collected by bees, which gets broken down into simple sugars stored inside the honeycomb.
Bees build the comb, they build their housing, and then they produce honey and put in the housing, right? Because understanding that honey is also their food, right? So they're storing their food in the combs in the little chambers. In the Bahamas, we have such a large variety of trees in a concentrated area. So we have from medicinal plants to fruit-bearing trees, vegetables, flowering plants. And bees, for us, pick up almost all of those anywhere in a 3 to 5 mile radius. They pick that up, and that's what the honey is produced out of.
Natasha Ramming, part proprietor of the bee company, remembers the company got its start when her husband, an avid fisher and advocate for nature, had an epiphany after teaching a beekeeping course back in 2014. From then to now, the company has been committed to providing Bahamians with a healthier alternative to sugars and artificial sweeteners. With Health Matters for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Well, we're going to toss the luck of the Irish over to LaDawn and Marlena, who are going to give us a sneak peek of Access Now.
Well, because it's all things green and a good luck charm day, I'm going to ask you and Marlena, do you know anybody from Ireland or anything from Ireland?
I know a few.
I can't say I do. I can't say that.
Marlena?
Off the top of my head, probably Sam, Annie, and Shauna, who I'm sure are out having a night out on the town in Nassau and showing everyone their Irish culture.
Yes, yes. And I know Austin Mullen over there in Spanish Wells. I'm sure he's having a dandy time over there as well.
That sounds good. Stay with us. The National Report is back after the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Diet-friendly special.
What is this? Oh, ghost pepper burger. Chicken. I always at Popeyes, so me just come and taste the chicken. Wow. Nice, crunchy. This is off the Chisholm
Wow, that is way better than I expected. Very spicy, extremely spicy actually. The bread is very soft. The chicken is juicy. Yeah, that's spicy food.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Honorable Wade Watson, MP for Bain and Grantstown presents Contractors Bonfire Training, calling all Bain and Grantstown contractors, builders, plumbers, electricians, tilers, AC repair, landscaping contractors, heavy equipment operators. Sign up on March 18th at 6:30 p.m. at Blue Hill Road Constituency Office. Learn how to sign up to bid on government contracts, learn how to bid, and learn the bidding codes. Limited space available, so act now. RSVP to 326-2482 or 827-2482. March 18th at 6:30 p.m. Blue Hill Road Constituency Office.
And that there does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
We've been more than just an airline. We've been a bridge, connecting families, dreams.
Oh, is that the brush fire in Eleuthera? That looks like Eleuthera.
Yeah.
We're building a safe and dependable airline where quality service is paramount and an excellent travel experience is our priority. Wherever you're going, we're here to take you there with care, with heart, and with the promise of unforgettable journeys. We are family, and just like family, we're committed to taking care of our own. Your Bahamas Air is our Bahamas Air, because here at Bahamas Air, we don't just fly here, we live here.
At the International Tourism Exchange Berlin 2025, a premier platform for thousands of exhibitors to expose their destinations to a wider global audience, Director General of the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Latia Duncombe, laid out what the islands of the Bahamas are bringing to the table.
We are here at ITB 2025, the world's largest travel trade show, and our calendars have certainly been very busy. Meetings with the trade, the travel trade, airline partners, discussing initiatives and opportunities. It was just 2 years ago here at ITB where we discussed the Google Street Map View opportunity. And at the moment, we have the vehicles in the islands of the Bahamas curating the content, making sure that visitors far and wide can have a virtual experience in the destination. And it's all about the islands of the Bahamas, all 16. We know that the out islands, the family islands, are always up front and center and always a preferred destination with our European travelers. And certainly we're showing what we have to offer as a product, as a brand. It's just an amazing time.
Later, at Bahamas Night, the Director General also took the opportunity to congratulate the People to People program on reaching its 50th anniversary.
Bahamas Night is historic, it's iconic. We've been having it here at ITB year after year after year. And each year, our team in Europe, led by Senior Director Anthony Stewart, has always ensured that the theme was so appropriate and that visitors far and wide remember the uniqueness and also the beauty of the islands of the Bahamas. But tonight, it's all about our People to People program, where we're showcasing you the islands of the Bahamas in its truest form. I'm honored, I'm proud to celebrate the People to People program in its achievement of 50 years, and I'm certainly looking forward to another 50 more years to come.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
Are you ready for the hardest sports show on the market? It's called The Timeout, Sundays on the ZNS television network. In our first show, 4 decades of sports in the country.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the Sunshine Room.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Find out why we celebrate this green day. Destiny Reed has the details.
And while we're thinking about four-leaf clovers, the circus is coming to town.
Plus, when you think of bands, the Bahamas Brass Band comes to mind. Stay close for that.
And coming up in sports, the Junkanoo boys fall just one goal short of qualifying for the Beach Soccer World Cup.
Tonight, Access Now starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis.
And I'm Marlena Leonard. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, Access Now.
It's St. Patrick's Day, Marlena. What say you?
I say green. And I'm going to get up to even more of these green activities once we're done. I'm going to try some of that chicken pot pie, delicious pot pie, and then probably the even more delicious green drink.
Ooh, sounds very scrumptious indeed, but good stuff there. We have a story coming up on that from our Destiny Week later on, but let's dive right into the news, shall we? Gather up the family, grab your tickets, and prepare for a thrilling night of circus magic and jaw-dropping thrills where the impossible comes to life. Acrobats to fire-breathing daredevils, gravity-defying stunts to side-splitting comedy. This is the kind of spectacle you won't want to miss. West Calix Forbes has a story.
The circus is back in town, bigger, bolder, and more electrifying than ever, following a sensational debut last year. They have returned to the Bahamas, bringing its high-energy, gravity-defying to Nassau before heading to Freeport Grand Bahama from March 21st to the 23rd.
Really incredible brand new show, and we're so thrilled to be here. We've been welcomed so warmly, and we can't wait to bring it to Freeport next weekend as well. We've actually got 4 more chances to see it this weekend here at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. You can find tickets on eTickets Live or on extremetourbbahamas.com to grab those tickets because they're selling fast, and yeah, we're just so excited to be here. So thank you for having us, Nassau.
The Kendall Isaac Gymnasium is transformed into a high-octane arena where world-class performers will push the limit of human ability. The 1 hour and 30-minute show promises heart-stopping stunts, breathtaking acrobat, and an electrifying rock and roll vibe that will keep the audience on the edge of their seats.
So we actually have an entirely brand new show. Last year we brought Circus International, which is our traditional, very, very cool circus show. This year it's actually a stunt-focused show. So we've got motorcycles, we've got our Wheel of Steel, we've got really incredible acrobats from Spain's Got Talent, and just a really amazing ringmaster as well that we have from Cirque du Soleil. He came here straight from Cirque. He's a chainsaw juggler. So we really just took everything up a notch, and it's a little bit more rock and roll, a little bit cooler, edgier, and there's something for everybody. So we're really excited about it. Yeah.
One of the show's most daring acts come from death-defying motorcyclist and his daughter, who took the stage in a performance that blends precision, speed, and adrenaline. Speaking to them, it's clear that the love for circus is a family tradition.
With the Globe and riding motorcycles, I started when I was about 18 years old. Now, the circus, I started performing when I was about 9 years old. So I am 4th generation circus performer. My daughter is now 5th generation circus performer, and she started performing at the age about 7. Yeah, so we got her a little bit earlier.
I honestly love it because then I get to be with my family the whole time, and we just get to perform in front of all different kinds of people and all over the world.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Wes Calix Forbes.
St. Patrick's Day celebrations are in full swing, with millions around the world joining in the festivities to honor Ireland's patron saint. Parades, music, and vibrant displays of green are bringing communities together in a global celebration of Irish culture. Our Destiny Reed decided to try on the leprechaun's hat.
St. Patrick's Day, celebrated on March 17th, is more than just a day to wear green or to party. It's a celebration of Irish culture and of the legacy of St. Patrick, a man who brought Christianity to Ireland. Born in Roman Britain, Maewyn Tuciat, widely known as St. Patrick, was kidnapped at 16 by Irish pirates, escaped, and later returned to Ireland as a missionary. He's credited with using the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity. After his death on March 17, 461 AD, the day was designated as a feast to honor him. What started as a religious observance quickly turned into something much bigger. Irish immigrants in the United States transformed St. Patrick's Day into a massive celebration of Irish pride, complete with parades and festivities. The first ever St. Patrick's Day parade was held in New York City in 1762, organized by Irish soldiers serving in the British Army. By the 19th century, the holiday was as much about Irish culture as it was about faith. And fast forward to today, many Irish restaurants like our friends at Shenanigans celebrate St. Patrick's Day with Irish food or drinks like this wicked leprechaun or this Guinness draught.
Well, we would have the traditional corned beef and cabbage, we would have the shepherd's pie, and all of that stuff.
When asked why Shenanigans celebrates St. Patrick's Day, manager Davida Nold said this.
We have a lot of Irish and Scottish people that live here in the Bahamas, and we want to commemorate that with Bahamian a little bit, but mostly Irish.
And if you want to know why we Bahamians should join in on the festivities,
well, because it has a lot of history, and he was a slave. He was brought into Ireland as a slave, he left, and then he came back. But he came back mainly to bring Christianity to Ireland, because we are a very Christian nation. So I believe that that ties in with Bahamian culture as well.
What began as a religious observance in Ireland has turned into a worldwide festival celebrating music, pride, and of course green, making March 17th a worldwide day for everyone to celebrate the Irish culture. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Destiny Reed.
Great story there, Destiny. When you think about marching bands, the first thing that comes to mind is the Bahamas Brass Band, which has a history deeply rooted in the Bahamian Christian community. West Calix Forbes spoke with the band. Here's her story.
For 170 years, the world-famous Bahamas Brass Band has been more than just a musical ensemble. It has been a spiritual force, a pillar of tradition, and a life-changing ministry within the Church of God of Prophecy. As a staple of the church's annual marches and worship services, speaking to the bishop and band leader, he emphasized that the Bahamas Brass Band is more than just an ensemble, it is a ministry.
Spiritually, the band impacts people's lives in ways that we cannot imagine. On so many of our trips, and even here throughout the Bahamas, we've had significant healings and people coming to Christ without a word mentioned. But just by the playing of this music, people come to Christ, their lives are touched forever. And that's one of the significant things that's always touched my heart, that what music can do with people who hear it.
The band is not only known for its stirring performances, but also known for its ability to bring people together through the power of music.
Music is a part of it, but we have wonderful fellowship. The scripture says, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. And you see behind me, these are brethren. We grow together, we're mentoring, we're investing in the lives that come within the band. So we have people as old as 80, 85 playing in the band. We have them young as 17. And so there is a meshing of generations that lets everyone know that this band is just more than music. It's fellowship, it's mentoring, it's pruning, it's growing, it's developing, and that's what we're about.
The band's longevity is due to its long-lasting ability to inspire and train younger musicians. One of those musicians is a third-generation band member and now teaching the next generation. He shared how his great-grandfather, grandfather, and father were all a part of the world-famous brass band.
And he participated on the parade today as well. So he is an excellent bass drummer. He has traveled the world, ministered with this band all over. And I, too, I'm a trumpet player as well. I did play a little bass drum, but I decided to stick on trumpet and I end up becoming the director of the Bahamas Junior Brass Band, where I'm teaching young kids from like age 8 to 17, because it's a generation thing where
The Bahamas Brass Band is not just an organization, it is a testament to the enduring power of faith and music, shaping lives one note at a time. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Wes Calix Forbes.
Good story there, Wes. And still to come, we heard the government high school is in the building. The alumni is up next, so keep it locked.
I say voice choice, you say Bryland. Voice choice. Voice choice.
Education officials visited the Harbor Island All-Age School recently to greet students, teachers, and administrators. Minister Glenys Hannah Martin underscored the purpose of the meeting with educators and students throughout the nation.
I am so happy that I have been able to keep a promise to myself that I will come to the people that represent this school, our educators, our administrators, our support staff, and you. And we've been making it a point to go to every school in the nation. Not to say that we've traveled and we've been to this place and that place, but because we want the message to go out to every child, every single individual, that we know, and the results are showing, that the Bahamian child is an extraordinary creature. They're incredibly gifted.
Director Dominique McCartney-Russell and District Superintendent Harcourt McCoy applauded the improved student success rate at the Harbor Island All-Age School.
Coming here and seeing what is being done at the Harbor Island All-Age School, I am so elated. I am elated to celebrate with this team, because what you're doing for these children, some of them may not see it today, but I can tell you, they're going to see it later on.
Math application in 2023, 15%. In 2024, 92%.
Johnny McIntosh for Ed Talk.
Welcome back. You're looking at a shot of Nassau Harbor. Neville Smith, our trusted drone pilot, is out there flying tonight. Wonder where he'll end up next. Well, as for us, been on Eleuthera for a while. Officials in Wims Bight, Eleuthera paying close attention to the track of a bushfire that started about 2 days ago. While there's been no loss of life or property reported, the Member of Parliament for Central and South Eleuthera, the Honourable Clay Sweeting, confirmed this blaze adds to a gas explosion that coincided with the bushfire.
Currently, it's just a bushfire, but I think that when communities see this happen, they just want to be preemptive to ensure that if it got to that point, that they were able to fight the fire before it damaged somebody's home.
The Eleuthera MP plans to collaborate with his cabinet colleagues in finding a sustainable solution to fight Family Island fires. As it stands now, most of the fire services throughout the Family Islands operate with volunteers.
And the challenge has been where communities have purchased fire trucks, but because of maintenance or lack thereof, when they go to utilize them, they're not ready to go. So that's the challenge. I mean, buying a fire truck is one thing, but maintaining, ensuring that they utilize it, because you got to use the truck once or twice a week to ensure that everything functions properly, so when the fire does happen, you're ready to go.
LaDawn?
Thanks, Malena. We are here with two alumni of the government high school, Dr. Robin Roberts and Vincent Vanderpool Wallace. This school was considered the creme de la creme of government schools back in the day, and its alumni are celebrating 100 years of the school's existence. Gentlemen, welcome to the Bahamas Tonight Access Now.
Oh, good to be here.
So tell us a little bit about, I guess, the class that you've graduated from, and what was it like for you attending the government high school?
Well, I think our year was, graduation year was 1969. Now, a number of us went on to A-levels and finished in 1971 also, but we see officially as our graduation year as 1969. And so we arrived at Government High as 11-year-olds back then. So I've known this guy since I was 11 and vice versa. And he's now my medical doctor also at the same time. So it is, it really was an extraordinary experience and one of the best schools, if not the best school I've ever attended.
And Dr. Roberts, how are you able to compare the school then, back in 1969, to now, 2025?
Well, you know, we were a classical grammar school. And so this was the time when you had the common entrance exam. And so at 11 years of age, you had all these kids who would write the examination to get into high school. And that was the time in 1964, we only had 8 high schools. And there were 7 parochial schools, and this was the only government high school. Okay? And not only that, it was the cheapest school at that time. Right. At that time, the fee was £10.10. And for many of us, for many of our families, that was very costly at that time, even though it was the cheapest of the schools. And it was also a school where all the children, regardless of your socioeconomic status, that there was a level playing field in which you wrote the common entrance exam. And I don't know how many kids at that time, but I would say every kid around the age 11 would write for the government high school. And at that time, you'd only take in 90 students. I went to the Southern Junior School, and that was the first time that we were allowed to write the common entrance exam, because normally that was for the 5th graders at Southern Juniors, at Southern Seniors. So the Southern Junior was allowed for the first time. And I remember there were 58 of us who wrote the exam, and only 8 passed.
Okay, so that's the difference.
That, you know, and so yeah, so I don't know what Vince's experience was at the time.
No, same thing. I came from the Western instead of Southern. From Western Senior School, because in fact at Western Junior School we were too young, because they had to sit the exam at 11, so we were too young, and so some of our classmates took the exam and went on to government high. And personally, I mean, when the people, I grew up in Grantstown, so when the people were making such a big fuss about some of the people in the area, 1 or 2 that went to government high, I told my mother, I won't go to government high, because that's what it's all about. So the fundamental difference really was the fact that you had to take an exam at age 11 in order to qualify to go to government high school. And I think that made all the difference compared to what happens today.
And 100 years is a very long time. Tell us about some of the more notable graduates.
That's easy, and you know, unfortunately, we're going to leave out some very important people. We'll just start with who's regarded as the father of our country, Sir Lyndon Pindling. I mean, there he is in his short pants in Form 1, as most of us did. And almost any major captain of industry, any major historical figure that had a tremendous effect on the growth and development, and of course the independence of the Bahamas, the majority of them went through government high school. So there is no question about it whatsoever that when you look at the legacy of the school, it's quite substantial.
And Dr. Roberts, tell us about some of the plans to celebrate 100.
Boy, now you're stretching it. they just asked me if I would participate, and I really want to give kudos to Mr. Fernando, because he is really spearheading this project, and I really I really want to compliment on his organizational and management skills. But I know that we are being invited to this banquet that we're going to have in April. I know that he has spearheaded one of the things that's very attractive, that there's a whole line of clothing. Not only for women, but for men as well. T-shirts, shirts, suits.
Celebrating the 100 years.
100 years.
Yeah.
And in addition, as I said, we're going to have that big gala night when we are going to have this big banquet. And yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we have this coincidence for us. We are celebrating our 50th of graduation, but also celebrating the school's 100th. So between April and May, we are having 2 celebrations, one for the graduation year and one also for the 100th anniversary of the founding of the school.
All right, Dr. Roberts, Mr. Vanderpool Wallace, thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here on the Bahamas Tonight Access Now, and all the best to you as you celebrate 100 years.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Great to be here.
Thanks.
Let's check in with sports to see what's in store.
tiebreaker in the semifinals of the CONCACAF Beach Soccer Cup. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
With BGC's crystal clear mobile service, stay connected seamlessly, whether on land or at sea. Our reliable postpaid plans keep your loved ones closer, no matter where life takes you.
Eggs, 1 dozen, $3.79. Kraft macaroni and cheese, 7 1/4 ounces, $1.29. Rainbow green pigeon peas, 15 ounces, 2 for $2.89. Chicken leg quarters, 10-pound bag, $1.19 per pound. Sweet strawberries, 1 pound, $3.99. If you want to stick the madness this March, shop the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Welcome to your Monday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. Opening day for the Bahamas Flag Football League taking place on Sunday at the Thomas Robinson Stadium. But before then, this weekend, the Junkanoo boys falling 1 goal short of making its first CONCACAF Beach Soccer Cup. Let's take a look at the highlights. The Bahamas falling 1 goal shy of making their first ever Beach Soccer World Cup. This is Guatemala would advance to the 2025 CONCACAF Beach Soccer Championship final. Bahamas taking on Guatemala Saturday evening. They would fall 2 goals down early in this one before Wood Julmus would score in the second period to begin the comeback effort from a direct free kick. Brandon Adderley struck a bicycle kick with 20 seconds left in the second to equalize things for the host and set up a winner-take-all situation in the closing stretch. But Pablo Croker broke the deadlock late in the third. This one would seal the fate of the Junkanoo boys 3-2.
It was a good fight to the end, but we gave us some early chances, and then we had to fight back to get back in the game. And then when we got in the game, we had our own chances, but we didn't put them away. So when you don't put away your chances, that's what happens. So end of the day, we fought out. We left it all on the field today, and we just fought short.
I think the team was ready, but we had a slow start. And I think that cost us because we were chasing the game the whole time. And once we got it, we had a lot of chances. We had at least 3 clear chances, hit the post, and could have taken the lead. But, you know, that's sports, man. Sometimes, you know, at least I'm proud of the team. They gave it all. They left everything on the field. And, you know, we just didn't finish our chances. And that's like I said, that's sports.
The Bahamas would have a chance to end the tournament on a winning note as they would take on the USA on Sunday in the third-place game. But unfortunately, they would finish the weekend 0-2 after a promising start to the tournament, dropping their final game to the Americans 6-2. So look at your sports on this Monday. A check on weather when we return.
Well, let's go. I think you've been too far, eh?
Bulk up your business and communication with parents, students, and staff in seconds with a live business bulk SMS messaging. This is the perfect tool.
Let's see one.
Alerts. Keep your campus informed and connected with bulk SMS messaging from Alive Business. The right choice for fast, reliable communication. For more information, contact the experts.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant back again with another episode on the do's and don'ts at the service station. Let's go. What you ain't gonna do is just pull up to any dispenser and put the nozzle inside your car without reading the signs. Because if you put the wrong fuel inside your car and the car mess up, you could be mad at us, all right? And then you have to walk a catch bus for about 3 to 18 months. What you're supposed to do is read the signs. We place signs all over the dispenser to tell you which fuel is which. Because you put the wrong one in your car, say bop, and you could be mad at us. You could be, oh, what happened to my car? No, it's you who ain't read. It say diesel, diesel, one word, diesel. You got up, and you mad at us. Read, that's all you have to do.
At Costrite, our members know that there's a lot to smile about. They know that membership has its privileges. Guaranteed low pricing on every item, every time you shop. Each membership comes with 2 cards. That's one for you and a free card for a member of your household. Gold card holders earn an annual 2% rebate up to $500. Costrite members get discounts at other participating businesses. So that's a lot to smile about. Whether it be clothing, appliances, home goods, or groceries, shop at Costrite, where membership truly has its privileges.
It's time now for your Access weather forecast. A strong cold front went through the northwest Bahamas this morning and brought with it some heavy showers and thunderstorms, and that's now making its way through the central islands and eventually later on tonight into the southeast Bahamas. Now behind that, you'll get some winds up to near gale force, so we ask the small craft to simply stay in port. And some cooler temperatures will also follow, and that will be with us for the next several days. Now your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Live Business, where we bulk up your business. In the northwestern islands tonight, winds northwest at 20 to 30 knots, very, very rough sea conditions at 7 to 10 feet over the ocean. The high tide, that will take place at 10:54 tonight. And for the central islands, the winds northwest, slightly weaker at 15 to 25 knots, but those rough seas will continue at 5 to 8 feet over the ocean in the central islands. And for the southeast Bahamas, the winds northwest at 12 to 18 knots. So caution flag is in place for the southeast Bahamas, but that will change by tomorrow. And as we go into tomorrow, for all areas, the winds become northwest to north at 15 to 25 knots with those rough seas at 5 to 8 feet over the ocean. High tide tomorrow, 11:07 in the morning, with the low tide at 5:13 in the afternoon. And then on Wednesday, middle of the week, northerly winds 10 to 15 knots, so we'll see a significant decrease in those wind speeds, wave height subsiding 2 to 4 feet over the ocean, so we will drop all of those caution flags for you on Wednesday. High tide 11:44 in the morning with a low tide at 5:49 in the afternoon. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Rolls Assurance.
Check this. Lose, go, don't know how Lose, go, don't know how
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Rolls Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. LaDawn and Melina.
Thanks a lot, Basil. The wind is blowing out there, and it's really rainy outside, Melina.
Well, as we say in Bahamian culture, 20 toes weather.
I have no comment on that, Melina. In fact, let's take a look at Let's Talk Socials with Matea Cunningham.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Talk Socials, where we break down what's trending on your timeline. And today we're talking all things St. Patrick's Day. Now, if you've been scrolling, you've probably seen that viral video from Barstool Sports, a bar going all out with the ultimate St. Patty's celebration. Picture this, a long line of drinks set up across the bar, and one by one, Irish cream shots drop in like dominoes. The precision, the commitment, the pure chaos. Yeah, the internet can't get enough. Check it out. Now, we don't recommend trying this at home, but we do want to know, what's the wildest St. Patrick's Day tradition you've seen? Let's hear it in the comments. That's it for Let's Talk Socials today. Bye.
Well, that was pretty cool, Matea. Well, Monday is out, Malena. That does it for us.
Sure does. Well, you enjoy the rest of your St. Patty's Day and stay tuned for the rundown with Clint Watson. His guest is none other than the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell.
Good night, everybody.
In the back of me, we are the mangrove swamp where we planted over 100 seeds from each school.
We have 4 schools who participated as they propagated mangroves. So that means baby mangroves. And so we were able to plant them today. This is actually a result of a year-long project. And so the idea today was just to start the awareness about our mangrove ecosystems, that they are forests, they are essential, that we need to protect them, and we need to do restoration work. And this is what it looks like.
This was truly a remarkable experience, just being here with young people, you know, high school students who are also interested in protecting our environment and keeping our environment safe. It was truly a joy.
We are people who live off seafood, we love our seafood. This is where it all begins, in areas like this. And so it's critically important. Again, we can't even put a price tag on it, but in terms of for our fishers, those persons who live off this, and then they provide the food for us to partake of. This is critically important because this is where that life begins. This is where this is a habitat for them, and this is where it begins before it gets to us. So on a day like today, when we had so many students here from C.R. Walker, from Windsor, and from other high schools, for them to be informed, for them to be educated, and for them to experience it, priceless.
I'm Ted Jervis, and this is ZNS. At Harold One, I'm Ted Jervis, and this is ZNS.
Clint Watson has been the trusted voice of journalism for over 2 decades. He is your first choice for hard-hitting discussions, your best choice for current affairs issues and investigative journalism. It's time to start the journey of relentless journalism. It's time to start the journey of facts over fiction. It's time for the Rundown with Clint Watson here on ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Mario.
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited. Good evening at the start of another week, and welcome indeed to the show. It's great to have all of you with us tonight. Around 50 Grand Bahama police officers living in police-assisted homes recently received eviction notices from the Commissioner of Police, Shanton Olds. And now, Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard claims that some of these officers have been living in police housing facilities for around 10 years, while adding that the Minister of National Security, his team, should have a, quote, have a heart and recant the eviction notices that were originally sent. Well, the Minister of National Security has responded with a strong statement, setting indeed the record straight. And of course, our Shane Stubbs of our Northern Service has more on this tonight.
The Ministry of National Security should immediately withdraw that letter so that they are able to address what will be a housing crisis for officers.
As opposition leader, the Honorable Michael Pintard, in a press conference addressing the police housing issue. But tonight, the minister is firing back. Through a statement released yesterday evening, Minister Munro says Michael Pintard's reckless and misleading statements on police housing show a clear disregard for facts and a willingness to politicize a routine administrative matter. Before making baseless claims, he should have done his due diligence and sought the truth instead of irresponsibly spreading falsehoods. The facts are clear. No police officer has been forced onto the streets. The housing assessment applies to officers who have lived in government-provided rentals for at least 5 years, some for as long as 2 decades, at the expense of the police budget. Every officer was given ample notice and multiple options. Officers received 3 to 6 months notice to transition to private accommodations. If additional time was needed, they were instructed to make a formal request. Not a single officer has submitted such a request. The Commissioner acted within the law and long-standing policy. The force's standing orders outlined the rules regarding housing, and officers who were unaware of them were provided copies. Some officers had already secured private housing while still occupying government rentals. The statement furthers, once an officer is deemed domiciled, meaning they have lived in a government-provided residence beyond the entitled period of 5 to 6 years, the financial obligation should no longer fall on the government. The reality is that for years, the government has continued to absorb these housing costs despite officers surpassing the period of entitlement. This has resulted in a situation where public funds have been used for expenses that should have been the responsibility of the officers themselves. The Commissioner of Police is now correcting the issue by enforcing the standard policy. Once an officer is deemed domiciled, they must either assume responsibility for their housing costs or relocate. Officers have been given 6 months to make their arrangements. The government has also forgiven the financial obligations that officers should have assumed long ago, a move that underscores fairness, not hardship. Unlike my predecessor, I will not interfere with the independent administration of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. The statement continues, it is very clear that the Free National Movement does not respect the independence of the Royal Bahamas Police Force or the office of the Commissioner. Instead of consulting or seeking to understand the matter, they resort to making foolish and irresponsible commentary. Pintard's decision to ignore the facts proves that his goal was never to advocate for the officers, but rather to manufacture controversy for political gain. This kind of reckless behavior from the leader of the opposition is not just irresponsible, it is dishonest. The government remains committed to ensuring that public resources are used fairly and effectively effectively while supporting the men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. We will not be distracted by political gamesmanship, nor will we allow misinformation to go unchallenged. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
All right, thanks a lot, Shane. That statement pretty much sums it all up, and the concern that many people are facing tonight as to whether or not there was a legitimate claim there, or whether it was just pontificating, politicizing, grandstanding. Tonight we'll have more on this story from the country's Foreign Affairs Minister. It's going to be one of the things we put to him as well, indeed, as the chairman of the party, and find out exactly his take on this whole ordeal. We've got several questions also we want to pitch to him tonight. Dominating national headlines is, of course, the U.S. government's threat to revoke visas of officials who engage Cuban medical professionals. I'm sure he should have something interesting to say about that. And that basically the entire Caribbean by far is visibly on this matter. But regional leaders, they're pushing back on those threats. Of course, we have to talk about our diplomatic relations around the globe as well. That's important to get a picture of tonight. And then, of course, like we said, we're going to do a little bit of politics tonight as well. Now, the Bahamas Trade Commission's chairman, Barry Griffin, is also here tonight to clarify why the high cost of living and what they're doing to address it, the upcoming 5% value-added tax rate on groceries, the price comparison, and opportunities for entrepreneurs and young people. So it's going to be a very interesting and high-impact show tonight with information. Got a lot to talk about. And when the rundown comes back, we're going to jump right into our conversation. At this desk, the Minister of Foreign Affairs will be here to take those questions for you. You're watching the rundown on the ZNS Network. We're back after this. Stay close.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass it along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
Planning the execution of a newscast is serious business. From the assignment to the concept of the story, everything has to be precise, on point, always. The Bahamas Tonight, the national report, is your trusted news service. We get it right the first time. Our preparation for you each night is done with care, knowing that our voices will reach you on 700 islands and keys with unquestionable accuracy. It gives me great pleasure each night to say,
welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. I'm your national anchor, Mukesh Lapinder.
Welcome back to the Rundown. A pleasant good evening to all of you joining us either in the Lion's Den or if you, of course, on YouTube or wherever you're getting your platform from tonight in the region and around the world. Good night to all of you. Thanks for joining us. Well, the Bahamas has played a dominant role on the regional and world stage. Since independence, we've formed diplomatic relations with many countries pretty much around the world. It has not changed. It's been that consistent. Heading this portfolio is no stranger to Bahamian government, Senior Cabinet Minister, and, of course, National Progressive Party chairman and member of Parliament for Fox Hill, the Honorable Fred Mitchell. And I think it's so important for us to also know that he's an attorney, but more importantly, former journalist, having spent some time here at the Broadcasting Corporation. And I'm even told a fun fact tonight that we can mention about him is that in May, the minister will celebrate his 33rd year in behaving politics.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time. Of course, he travels around the world representing us on diplomatic ties. Minister, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us.
Yes, back to my old desk here.
Yeah, there you go. Welcome home.
Right. Yeah.
So obviously, we want to jump right in and talk about a couple of things that are concerning behavior tonight. Of course, the first one would be what actions or steps are being taken by the Bahamas government to respond to the allegations by the United States of, quote, forced labor being used in the Cuban work retention program.
The Prime Minister's made it quite clear that the bottom line is the Bahamas government is not involved in any practices which violate the international labor standards. This is a bit of a storm in a teacup, and perhaps many people think is ideologically driven. You know, U.S. visa policies are what they are, and as I've said, many Bahamians complain to us about the way they're treated at the U.S. Embassy. They complain about the decisions. They seem arbitrary, whimsical. But their law, as I understand it, makes visa decisions subjective. So basically, the consular officer can make it on whatever basis it feels like. But the country's reputation should not be damaged by allegations or insinuations that are really inaccurate. And the Prime Minister basically is speaking up for the truth of it, and the facts will out. We assume that we're dealing with rational actors here in the United States, and if the truth comes out, the truth should prevail.
We have seen a lot on the international scene, perhaps those last 6 weeks, the decisions of the United States and their administration, and some people can describe it as far as, you know, left as you want it to go, or as far right as you think it should go. But nonetheless, there have been some strange decisions made, and the concern is, will that pressure be put on the Caribbean region, in particular the Bahamas, if they don't believe we're cooperating to their liking, I like to put it. Is there a concern, serious concern there?
Well, let me put it this way. The Bahamas is tied to the hip, United States, in its economy and its geography. That's not going to change anytime soon. There are major trading partners, major investors, and it's really the same for the entire Caribbean region. So, you know, Pierre Trudeau had a famous saying about, you know, whether someone of a gentle persuasion or someone of other persuasion is in charge in the U.S. It is what it is, and you just have to adjust to what it is. A small country doesn't have an army, doesn't have the economy to fight back in that way, but it does have its voice, and it has its moral values. And if 1973 is going to mean anything at all, it is to speak up when there's something which adversely affects our country. We have a responsibility to do that. We can't speak for what the other party is going to do. That's their business, what they do. But we can stand up for ourselves. Having said that, there's a very thin line that you have to walk with this, because I noticed, for example, all of the text messages coming to me, you can't let these people bully you and all the rest of it, right? That's all fine. I understand that on one level. But on the other hand, you know, all our food comes from them.
Yeah.
I think you're going to talk a bit about that later on. All our food comes from them. All the inputs into the tourism product comes from them. All the tourists come from them. So you've got an interest in maintaining and protecting those interests. So that's why I've said decisions in the past by the United States have affected our economy. In 1919, I think they passed a constitutional amendment, if you could believe it, that you couldn't drink liquor. But that caused a huge boom in our country. And then at one point, we had access to their markets as farmers. That's how Sidney Poitier got born in the United States. And then they shut the markets, so you couldn't go into the United States with the produce. So there are ups and downs in the relationship. The smaller country is not in a position to dictate terms, but the assumption always is that you're dealing with rational actors. That's the presumption. It may be rebuttable, but you're dealing with responsible, rational actors, and that the truth and the facts will out. We have familial ties with them, we have close economic ties with them, and there's no reason to believe that they would deliberately disrupt those ties, a nation and nations that are their friends. That's the assumption we're going to proceed on. That's how it's worked out in the past, and that's how we expect it'll work out this time.
Initially, when the Trump administration took office, there was this kind of push for the Bahamas to take illegal migrants, whether there was concerns as to whether they were actual Bahamians or we were just being asked to take them. And there was this, well, we need you to cooperate. Where are we with that?
This was a proposition that was floated by the Biden administration before the present administration took over, and the Prime Minister was quite clear that was not acceptable to us, and it's still not acceptable to us. I think where there's a bit of a problem is that, you know, in this country you get citizenship by descent, not by birth.
Correct.
So that means your parents have to be Bahamian in order to claim Bahamian citizenship. And so there's this category of people, largely from our neighbor to the south, who are born here, have a right, conditional right, I guess you'd call it, to apply for Bahamian citizenship at their 18th birthday and before their 19th birthday. Now, many of them have left the country as children, gone to the States, and run into trouble. And in the past, the United States has tried to deport them back to the Bahamas, which is the country where they were born. And we said, well, no, they're not citizens of the Bahamas, so they have to go back to their country of citizenship. That arose again this time, and our position is the same. As a question of law, we are obliged to accept anyone who's a Bahamian citizen, and anyone who's not has to go to their country of origin.
Is there a need to review this Cuban program? I know there have been talks about concerns about it. Is there a need to review the Cuban medical mission program that we have in place, or do you maintain that it's sound and all of the checks and balances have been put in place? Well,
as I said, the general proposition is there's no evidence, as far as we can tell, that we violate any international labor standards. Of course, when your neighbor shouts and says there's a problem, you always examine the problem to see the truth or otherwise of what exists. So I imagine that those who are responsible for these programs will have a look at it. There's nothing we see by evidence that the assertions are correct. What we do know is that the medical practitioners from Cuba play an important role in our healthcare, and this is particularly so in a situation where there's active recruitment, aggressive recruitment from the United States of our nurses and doctors in this country. So we are using our public funds to train nurses and doctors who then go and work in the U.S. We lose them to the U.S., and then as a result we have to recruit in other areas, and then you know, you have this, what I call this Hobson's choice, which is not really a choice when they make assertions of the kind that we now see. We'll see. As I said, the assumption is, and people keep smiling at that point, but the assumption has to be in diplomacy and in law that we are dealing with rational actors, and rational actors will act in favor of the truth.
We certainly hope some will watch that. I want to get back to something you mentioned in your comment, and I thought it was something we should go back on. That is, of course, concerns and complaints from Bahamians trying to get visas in the U.S. Embassy. Is it something that you have formally complained to the embassy about or sought to seek about? No doubt many Bahamians who have to apply are going to be concerned as to whether they'll get a fair shake at it.
Yeah, we have formally complained, and formally complained to previous administrations, and the complaints obtained. And the difficulty is we have a difficulty explaining to Bahamians that the foreign ministry has no control or influence over decisions made by the U.S. with regard to visas. Having said that, as a public proposition, there are some people who say Bahamians or Caribbean citizens or foreigners do not have a right to go to the United States. And I suppose in one legal aspect that is correct, but I was looking at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights today. People have a right to leave their country. Doesn't say they have a right to go to another country, but the corollary of that is, in fact, that you have a right to enter a country and to go there for trade and commerce and all the rest of it. And you should be treated with respect with regard to it. And there should not be things which prevent you from going, either artificially constructed or ideologically constructed. And most Bahamians only want to go there to go shopping or for medical care, health care. and the other thing is for education. And to me, it's just a little too numerous now, these complaints about this. And we have an obligation to raise it with them to say, hey, you have to have a look at this and see whether, as rational actors, you are actually acting according to law and rationally with regard to the decisions you're making about Bahamians who wish to access your country.
We do have some Bahamians whose status is in limbo in the United States. Has the Ministry of Foreign Affairs been in contact with them, and what is your message to them?
I think they said there's something like 400 odd people who are in the
minute compared to other countries.
Yeah. I'm not sure. No one has actually sent out a distress signal as such, but you know that people are. There are some people who are actually in the custody of ICE, which is the body which is responsible for the deportations, and we try to move those along as smoothly as possible.
All right. Thank you so much, Minister. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about some things in the local front, the other portfolio, your other hat. Stay with us. You're watching The Rundown with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. We come back, we'll talk to him about his portfolio. He's chairman of the PLP. We're back after this. Stay close.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community, also help with the education of our kids in this community, and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Brass Band, a Bahamian company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
For more than 30 years, thousands have attended the annual Bahamas Bridal Show to enjoy a spectacular fashion show, fun and games, food and champagne, and $30,000 in prizes, including honeymoons. On Sunday, March 23rd at Grand Hyatt Bahama, come see the reason the Bahamas Bridal Show is the ultimate experience for weddings and special events. Show tickets, $75. Call 421-9783 or visit bahamasevents.net.
The thought of colon cancer never really crossed my mind until 2019, when a very good friend of mine was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. I was shocked. Everybody was shocked because he was a picture of perfect health. He was young, athletic, successful, and full of life. Many of us are still in disbelief. I started to question my own health because if it happened to him, surely it could happen to me. Then came the fear, the anxiety, and everything else in between. Facing your own mortality is very sobering. But for me, I decided right then to have a colonoscopy, and I'm glad I did.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer diagnosed in Bahamian men and women. Fortunately, almost all colon cancers are preventable. A colonoscopy or some other appropriate form of colon cancer screening is recommended for everyone over the age of 45. During a colonoscopy, we can detect and remove colon polyps that may grow and later become colon cancers. Don't wait until you develop symptoms, such as blood in your stool, abdominal pain, a significant change in your bowel habits, or unintentional weight loss. These may all be indications of a severe problem that requires immediate attention. If you're over the age of 45 or have any of those symptoms, talk to your doctor about the benefits of colon cancer screening today.
Welcome back to The Rundown. My conversation tonight is with Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Fred Mitchell. We've done talking about a lot of the diplomatic stuff internationally. I want to talk more on the local front now as chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party. Minister, we played at the top of this show a story yesterday with the opposition Free National Movement holding a press conference to cry shame on, they call the government, for eviction notices that were issued by the Commissioner of Police for persons who are living in I guess, police housing in Grand Bahama. And according to the information, these were persons who have been living way past the time stipulated for living in those areas. Some of them living there for up to 2 decades, we understand. There are other police officers waiting to get into those homes. They were given notice. They were told if you needed to stay longer, write. No one wrote. So they assume that everybody has found their way. We've been told that some persons are actually, we told a couple who's living there is actually renting apartments elsewhere. Obviously they're finding a way to capitalize on the whole movement thing. And then a statement came yesterday from the Minister of National Security, crying shame on what he called it to be politicizing this. Your response, you talked about it in your daily voice notes. Your response to this?
Well, I used to be public service minister, and there's this policy on domicile, and after you've been in place for 5 years, you lose all the allowances. That's so in the Foreign Service. Now, what tends to happen in our country is these things lapse, nobody pays attention to them, and then it just goes on and on and on and on. So the Commissioner of Police has decided to make a decision on this. As they say, there's a new sheriff in town, and you could argue that you should, shouldn't, would not. Opposition parties, their job is to rattle our cage, I suppose. So, I mean, he looked, the dramatis personae, the two of them with serious faces, and, we must withdraw this eviction notice straight away, right? Shaking our boots. But the serious point is that the minister said in his statement that if anyone has some issue arising out of this, then simply approach the authorities and there'll be some adjustments made for those particular cases. So far, that's not been done. So I think Mr. Pintard doesn't have the political capital that he thinks he has in this particular situation. Anytime the PLP is involved in something and people are in distress or they have to appeal to the human side of things, we always err on the side of that, and I'm satisfied the minister and the Commissioner of Police will do that.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the political front. You're the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party. What is the Progressive Liberal Party? What are some of the checks and balances you're putting in place now as you prepare to go to elections next year that you think the party must do in order to prepare itself for the election season?
Well, the first thing is you got to put your brain in gear for the fact that we are entering campaign season. And over the weekend, we had 6 of our branches together with a consultant who was going over the whole thing of statistics and data and targets and all the rest of that, and swapping stories about how people can prepare themselves for canvassing and what they should say in canvassing. This is part of an ongoing review that we've had over the last year, constituency by constituency, member parliament by member parliament, to have an assessment of where we are in fact. It's very easy to be in government and forget the fundamentals, which is that you need to be in contact with people, because this is a people business. We have small constituencies, so there's no reason why you can't be in touch with electors at least once during the term. Patrick Manning, when he's Prime Minister in Trinidad, used to mandate that members of Parliament would have one day where they did nothing else but see constituents in their constituency offices. So the deal is to get everybody cranked up into that mode again and to understand that, this is a people business. This is also put money on the ground business. This is, getting yourself organized with statistics and data because election is coming.
Will the Progressive Liberal Party run in the same candidates again?
I can't speak to that. As the chairman of the party, my role now is to make sure everybody is kept together. We don't have candidates as such. We have members of parliament who sit in seats. All of them, as far as I'm aware, have been given their marching orders to keep the troops together and all of them are doing that insofar as I can tell. I've been really pleased at the volume of branch meetings that take place on a monthly, weekly basis. I try to go to as many of them as I can, and to thank people for their support, because this is a people's business. It's a volunteer business, to listen to what people have to say and to make sure that the government's policies and the application of those policies are adjusted to what people are actually saying on the ground. You have to be really careful not to live in a bubble.
I'm glad you said that, because there's been concern that the Progressive Party's base has had concerns about either been ignored, been overlooked. When you came to office, they weren't helped, they didn't get all that sorted out. And now, normally, parties would need the same base to be on the ground talking to people. How's the Progressive Party bridging that gap?
Again, there's an old ad, I think it was for Delta Airlines, but and it's talking about, it starts off with a man in a factory, and he's saying how an old customer called him up and said, "I don't understand this organization anymore." And he says, "I bought some Delta Airlines tickets, and you're all going back to the markets, and you're going to check with them, and so you reintroduce yourself to old friends and introduce yourself to new friends." And that's where we are. Every member of Parliament, every senator has been given the marching order that you have to go back into constituencies. If you don't already, you have to hold regular branch meetings. This is like church, every Sunday. So every month the branch has to meet, and you get a chance to swap stories, and everybody understands where we are, and we have to work toward that goal. And the goal is not because we are so crazy for power, because power, of course, is important, and you can only do things for people if you have power. But the fact is, the country is better served if the Progressive Liberal Party has another term, because you need the continuity. I was saying this morning that continuity is a big thing for me, because people keep complaining about crime, for example. And we know that the long-term, the way to deal with solving the crime problems is actually long-term. And, democracy being what it is, thank God for that. But the fact is that we've been back and forth, 5 years here, 5 years there. And every time the Free National Movement comes in, they cancel the social programs that we've been engaged in, to our detriment. And then they complain that crime is out of hand, or so they say. But if we have consistently the two terms, I think the country will appreciate the stability, the consistency, the peace, the less violence that will ensue as a result of consistent policies. And that's really why we're arguing for the second term, not for aggrandizement, but for the best interest of the country. And where people feel that there's a default, please know that you have members of Parliament and senators who are accessible to you, and please make sure you access them. And if there's a default, we've got a party central office. Get in touch with us, and we will try and rectify whatever those situations are.
There have been some challenges, obviously, with Grand Bahama, getting the Grand Lucayan Hotel sold, getting the airport up and running with new partnership, and of course the dispute going on with the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Do you believe you have enough success to tout in Grand Bahama to say, give the Progressive Liberal Party a second term?
Again, my argument is the consistency, standing up for the Bahamian community there. I think West Grand Bahama is an example of the way that investments play out to the benefit of people, and we certainly will be defending Ginger Moxie's seat with all the moxie that we've got, and we're going to target the leader of the opposition seat to make sure that he's uncomfortable as possible during the campaign coming up. So if he keeps his job, it'll only be by the grace of God.
Let's turn and talk about the concern about corruption. It was mentioned in a U.S. report, and it's something that the opposition parties have been using and saying this government, this administration is corrupt. What do you say in response to that?
That's a piece of fiction that has been trotted out by the Free National Movement over many years. The interesting thing, of course, is that they trot it out, but it doesn't work, because they lost the election after trotting that out in 2021. they're trying to find scandal again where there is no scandal. And they try always to employ the language of American reports about what is supposedly going on in the Bahamas. As far as we know, these cases have nothing to do with institutional corruption, this case that they keep touting in the United States. And of course, you have their own president of the United States saying that the district that issued the indictments is itself corrupt. So, I mean, I don't know what you know. Anyway, that aside. But the fact is that when you go and look at the history, if you deal with the UBP, there's real corruption there, you know, self-dealing, paying themselves consultancy fees from the Grand Bahama Port Authority, and then their successes with the Free National Movement. And if you go back to what happened in 1977 when Pinling got rid of, must be 6 or 7 of them for various corruption allegations, some of them were charged before the courts. So, you know, if you want to play that game, you can. What you know is that every time there's an allegation of corruption against the Progressive Liberal Party, it's thoroughly investigated and dealt with one way or the other. And so there's nothing that says that the Progressive Liberal Party, or that can prove that the Progressive Liberal Party is a corrupt organization. In fact, it is the nation-building organization. It is the political party that builds the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And what they're trying to use now is this Procurement Act, which the Free National Movement passed in a rush before the last election. And when that matter was debated in the House and in the Senate, we said, look, we support this only to this extent, that it preserves the right for single source procurement. And why is that? Because the way the deck is stacked in this country economically, if you don't have single source procurement and the ability to have affirmative action, the same suspects will get the contracts each and every day. And we said we would not support that aspect. Once that was included, we supported. So don't come with this stuff about single sourcing or as if something is wrong and that it's directed toward political cronies and all the rest of that. In each case, when you check single source procurement, you will find that the law on it was followed meticulously and to the letter and spirit of the law. But the idea is to help those who are at the bottom of the rung to get a lift up to the top. And that remains the Progressive Liberal Party's mission today and going forward.
Elections around the world, incumbents have been challenged with the issue of cost of living. How does this administration expect to address that?
Well, one of the things I think we ought to engage in is public education because as I said, we are appended to the U.S. economy. All of the inputs in this economy come from the United States of America. So policies which inflict high costs on U.S. goods, we import the inflation. So people ought to know that the inflation we have is not inflation by our own making. It's inflation which is derived from another source. And so the Bahamas government is doing what it can to manage that. You'll soon hear the extent of alternative markets and trying to find cheaper goods. But remember that our main trading partner is engaged in a trade war itself with others. They've decided to pursue a particular methodology to accomplish gains for their economy, and that has knock-on effects on the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
I think a good question to wrap up on is what people have been asking. I've been watching them online, and the question here is there going to be an early election? Not that you're going to come out and say, yes, there will be an early election, prepare now. But I guess the question should be, is the Progressive Party, do they see the needs for an early election, or is there still more work that needs to be done?
Well, we've got a mandate for 5 years. The term began the 10th of October, 2021. You count 5 years from the day of the first meeting of the House of Assembly, 5 years later. So the mandate runs out the 10th of October, 2026. There's no reason, I can tell, to have any general election. There's no crisis. There's nothing which suggests otherwise. So you serve out your term. They want to push us into a mistake that their former prime minister made. Poor them, 8 months, called the election 8 months early, and lost 8 months worth of salary. They're still mad with him today for that, but hard luck on them. We ain't pulling that maneuver.
All right, I'll give you the final word. How would you describe the Progressive Liberal Party's term in office?
I think we've brought stability to the country. We've set people free, so to speak, because we were locked up in our homes by this man who promised that he was going to save our lives, but 500 people died anyway. So we're free of all of that. The tourists are back in the streets. There's U.S. dollars in people's pockets. So that should be a good feeling. Having said that, inflation is cutting a swath through the country. There are many people who feel they've been denied the opportunity of the good times. So we can't live in a bubble. As I said, we have to be sensitive to those things and get back on the ground and listen to what people have to say and respond to what people have to say so that they can say, well done, you've earned a second term.
All right, Honorable Fred Mitchell, thank you for being on the rundown.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Appreciate it. Stay with us tonight. When we come back, we're going to talk to the Bahamas Trade Commission Chairman, Senator Honorable Barry Griffin, and we're going to talk about cost of living some more and what the plans are and what they're doing to address it. You're watching The Rundown. We're back after this. Stay close.
At Frame Studio, as soon as you enter the door, we showcase any individual that comes in there and make it feel like they are at home. The space itself is 1,800 square foot. Our psych wall, which is industry standard also, is 24 feet wide. You can do anything that you can possibly think of. At Frame Studio, under our theme, Now Create More, we look at Frame Studio as a canvas. And any artist knows a canvas is blank, and then you create whatever you want to do, right? So we have where you could rent tools. We even have workstations that people could rent out to anyone inspiring to do what I've done, or what my colleagues have done, or any other journey. I would say to you, don't be afraid. The worst someone can actually tell you is no. So if you have a vision, you have an idea, not everyone will get it. But if you believe in your vision, you believe in your idea, I say go wholeheartedly at it.
For more information about the Creative Entrepreneurs Initiative and the Crafting the Bahamas workshops, email info@sbdcbahamas.com or call us at 461-7232.
We seem to remember our athletes when they make us proud at the finish line. Throw a Junkanoo parade when they return home, toss them a few dollars, and then forget about them until the next Members time. Of the prestigious Fourth Estate should never sell themselves to any politician. Instead, keep their hands and noses clean in order to publish or broadcast the unadulterated truth. Well, that's how I see it anyway.
Read as I see it, exclusively at ZNSBahamas.com. New articles premiere on Mondays at 9 a.m.
Did you know that if a fire starts in your home, you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape? Keep your family and home safe with these few fire safety preparation and prevention tips. Ensure that your home has working smoke detectors. They will alert you if there is smoke and fire in your home. Install a smoke detector on every level of your home, inside each bedroom and outside each sleeping area. Test smoke detectors every month and change the batteries every 6 months. Home fires can spread rapidly and every second counts. Create an escape plan and practice it with everyone in your home. Make sure everyone can safely escape in less than 2 minutes. Keep escape routes as clutter-free as possible so no one trips or falls on the way out during an emergency. In addition to smoke detectors, fire extinguishers is an important device to have on hand. To use a fire extinguisher, remember the acronym PASS. Pull the pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the handle, and sweep from side to side at the base of the fire. We must all do our parts to ensure that our families and homes are safe in the event a fire occurs. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, the Director of Fire Services, and all officers of the fire department, let's work together to help prevent fires, because fire safety is everyone's responsibility, and the life you save may be your own.
Welcome back to the Rundown. Well, the mission of the Bahamas Trade Commission is to canvass the Bahamian business community to pretty much understand their concerns with regards to various agreements where there is a potential that the Bahamas would be a party to international organizations like the World Trade Organization and inform them about the developments in the negotiations regarding membership. Well, joining us tonight to talk about a myriad of topics is Bahamas Trade Commission Chairman, Senator the Honorable Barry Griffin, and Supply Chain Specialist Liliana Russell. Gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown. Good to have both of you here.
Thank you for having us. Good evening.
Good evening. Good to be here. Obviously, I want to break it down so that our people understand really the work that the commission is doing, because at the end of the day, it means one thing to Bahamians. Yep. Am I going to pay less? Yep. I'm going to be able to afford what I need to buy, and what are you going to do to change that? So let's talk really about that first of all, in the fact that this commission has been established really to establish new trade opportunities for the Bahamas. Right about now, when you're seeing a lot of things going on in the U.S. and with cost, it makes you wonder, well, this could be the breakthrough right here. Talk a bit about that first.
Yep. So under this administration, this is perhaps the most active the Bahamas Trade Commission has ever been. Wow. And so what this Prime Minister has done, he saw the issues with trade that were pending because of inflation, supply chain issues, the war in Ukraine that happened very early on in our term, and he mandated the Trade Commission to be at the forefront of the cost of living issue in the Bahamas. The reality is that the cost of living in the Bahamas is astronomical. We've been in the top 20 highest cost countries in the world for over the last 20 years. So this isn't something new, but Bahamians are feeling the pinch more because inflation is high. And so we've been mandated to look at our various trade agreements, look at the trading relationships we have with countries around the world, take advantage of the great diplomatic relationships we're building around the world through the Prime Minister's travel, through the work of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and basically to turn those into opportunities for the Bahamian people. So our first and foremost goal is to be at the forefront of lowering prices here in this country. And so we have embarked on a national trade diversification program in which we are using these great relationships we have around the world to get the best prices of goods from around the world. So we've seen it with the cost of eggs dropping drastically.
That was direct intervention by the Commission.
And so that was SuperValue's response to the calls from the Commission to diversify their trade.
And that's what you want. You want people to be able to take the bull by the horn for themselves and do the same thing.
And so that's what we're doing. It's a two-pronged strategy. One, we're simply promoting to the private sector to say, hey, look at these different supply chain opportunities, diversification opportunities, businesses that are able to do it on their own, like the SuperValues and the larger companies. We say do it. But we also have a specific government program in which we work with supply chain experts like Mr. Russell and his company, where we pair small and medium-sized businesses with companies like his to import goods from around the world. So smaller companies may not have the resources or the know-how to do it, and so we've brought in the experts who are on the ground already helping Bahamian businesses to import products, and we pair them with these companies.
So let's bring you into the conversation, because tell us what exactly specifically do you do in this regard?
Well, in this regard, Clint, well, good evening, Bahamas. My name is Liliana Russell again. So in this regard, what Russell and Russell do is we are a supply chain and logistics company, right? So we source products through all over the world. You know, we've been working through alternative markets for like 2-3 years now. So with this particular initiative that the senator rolled out, it was God sent. You know, because we've harnessed relationships from like 3-4 years ago throughout Central America, South America, China, Europe, Eastern Europe. You know, so you know, we've harnessed relationships from building supply companies, textile companies, cleaning product, assortment of different products. So what we are doing, there are several things that we're doing, several exciting initiatives that we have planned. Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, the existing customers that we have right now, along with new customers, we'll be rolling out a Zoom gathering, Zoom call, where we will be introducing suppliers, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to educate the local retailers, the local wholesalers, in terms of who the vendors are, that the potential vendors that they'll be working with in the South American region that we're working with right now. Some companies want to know, okay, what's the history behind the company? What's the history behind the product that we're getting? Because you know, we saw what happened with the eggs, right? There's a lot of questions behind the eggs. So what we want to do is we want to give you the science behind it. So if there's any questions that you have, right, you can ask in that meeting. Yeah, so we're doing that in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
And then what we're also doing as well is we're streamlining the procurement process in terms of creating an app, a procurement app, right? Because what we know for a fact, with our experience purchasing in alternative markets outside of America, is there's a communication barrier, right? That's one challenge. Of course. A lot of Bahamians are receptive to purchasing outside of America into different regions, right? But the question is, okay, if I go to Brazil or if I go to Colombia or Costa Rica, the prices are good. But the next question is, how do I get the products out?
And then how do I read the products?
How do I read the product
in Spanish?
Exactly. How do I read the product?
Yeah.
And then, right, exactly. So that's where we come in, right? So we streamline that process. We already have the suppliers, right? We create the app, we put the product on the app, convert that into English, and the price is on the app as well, right?
So the Trade Commission is busy working with Russell & Russell, as well as a few other companies that have reaches into Africa. We're working with a Bahamian company that's bringing products from Africa. Wow. We're working with companies that are bringing products from the Caribbean. So we're looking into Jamaica, Trinidad for snack food products, for sauces and seasonings that Bahamians love and are used to, all as an alternative to the U.S. market. As Minister Mitchell would have said, the U.S. is our strongest and most dominant trading partner, and that's not going to change anytime soon. However, to ease the burden of the cost of living on Bahamians, and also to protect our supply chain and national security, it's important to diversify so that when there are fluctuations and disruptions in the market, we already have great relationships with other sources where we can get products. So we're very excited to be working on these initiatives.
So I'll tell you, so tell me how is that working? Because Bahamians seem to be people hung up on name brand. You know, we want a certain kind of product. Matter of fact, we call some name brands the product.
Correct.
You know, thinking that that's what it is. We say, I need to go buy some Bahama rice rather than rice. You know, I need to go buy some Milo. You know, these are all brands, right? So Bahamians like brands. Are we seeing now Bahamians moving away from what they traditionally grew up seeing as the product and saying, I'm willing to try something else if it's more economical?
So it's very interesting. We've been doing polling of the Bahamian people. We have lots of polling where we speak to consumers, and what consumers are telling us is that things are so expensive right now that they're willing to try. And again, we've seen that with the eggs. A lot of people questioned where are they from, but as soon as they got that sort of a surety that these products are safe, they came into the country legitimately, Super Value shelves absolutely sold out almost immediately.
Yeah, because they're now back to the expensive $13, $7 eggs. Well, $10 now.
Exactly. So now we need new shipments, and so that's actually great. The proprietors of Super Value actually said in a newspaper statement that it was a great gamble. They took a gamble on it, and it succeeded. And so what we're finding is that different people are willing to try different products. So you may not want to try a particular product and stick to your brand, but I may be willing to try a different brand for that product. And so the reality is what we're trying to do to the market right now is to bring variety and options. So your favorite brand will still be there. If you only drink MacArthur's milk or you only want Mahatma rice, it's still going to be there. However, if you are willing to try what they call an off-brand sort of different product, it will be there as well. And so we want to bring that variety so that really and truly it's putting the power into the hands of the consumer. You get to choose where you want to save money or where you're perhaps willing to spend a little bit more for a brand that you are more familiar with. And the other thing I'll quickly say as well, many of the brands that we're used to from the U.S. are actually non-American brands. They're just sold in the U.S. Or the U.S. does sort of value added to give you the product. So for example, Bahamians are very familiar with the Goya brand, lots of canned goods. That's a Dominican company that also does stuff in Puerto Rico. They are heavily in the U.S. market, and so we buy those products from the U.S. thinking that it's an American product when it's actually not. We can go straight to the Dominican Republic, straight to Puerto Rico, and get those products directly here to the Bahamas.
I do have a view online asking what number do we sign up for the Zoom meeting?
Okay, so yeah, the number to sign up for the Zoom meeting will be 359-3735. So you can just text that number.
Right, 359-3735. 35. And that's how you can get a part of it. I'll give you the last closing remarks. Go ahead. What do you want people to do? Because obviously we need buy-in, right? Because obviously it's about the numbers and the bulk. What do you want to say to the Bahamian people regarding, obviously, very strong and powerful initiatives to reduce the cost of living, but it requires people to actually participate, or else you won't see the movement.
So the thing that the government and the Bahamas Trade Commission wants to get to the public is that our only concern is lowering the cost of living. The reality is the world is changing, the trade landscape is changing. We see every day different pronouncements coming from different parts of the world that will affect us here in the Bahamas. And so we want the business community in particular to be open to change, to be at least willing to speak to new suppliers, new manufacturers. We have lots of trade missions that we're planning where the government will have representatives on the missions, and some of the missions are strictly for business people to go and meet the suppliers in person, go to the farms, go to the stores, go to the factories and see these things happening so that you can come back more educated and inform the Bahamian consumer of what you've seen. So our mission in this, be open-minded and be willing to bring back cost savings to the Bahamian people.
Sounds good. Gentlemen, thank you both for being on the rundown tonight. We've gotten the conversation started. We're going to have you back to talk more in detail on how the programs are working. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. That does it for the rundown. Be sure to stay locked on the ZNS network. The Bahamas tonight at 11. It's the final newscast in the country with the latest news and information with Royston Jones. He's right over there in the building, right over there in the newsroom, getting ready for the 11 o'clock news. For all of us here at ZNS, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
After 30 years of banking, I've decided to take a leap of faith. I moved from banking into an untapped industry, which is manufacturing in the Bahamas. And now we are standing on 3 acres of land